Hey guys, what's up? It is week 126. This show is going to be probably like 2.5 hours long. I just got back from Cinema Wasteland yesterday, so we're going to have the Cinema Wasteland footage at the very end. Again, always shaky, always loud and obnoxious. You know, these cameras really are the kind of run and gun kind of cameras. They work better stationary. So yeah, so there's that on here. Also, I got lucky enough to get an interview with Fred Vogel about some of his favorite non-horror movies, and I had him and Cage sit down and kind of talk about the Joker with me a little bit, because we went and saw that when we were there. So yeah, that's pretty cool to have Fred Vogel review the Joker or talk about the Joker. Really cool stuff. So I guess we're going to hop into this right away. I do have Patreon prizes this time around. I want to just kind of mention that I watched the second episode of Creepshow. I think I'm going to do this throughout the weeks and, have a little take on all the Creepshow episodes. All right, again, this is, the second episode has two little short movies on there, 23 minutes apiece. The first one was a werewolf story during World War II, so I was dead into this one. I was very excited to watch this. I love werewolves. I love World War II stories. There's not enough of them, to be honest. So this was directed by Rob Schaub, and at one point they use the Creepshow lighting comes in with the green and red. Jeffrey Combs plays an SS, or not, just a Nazi officer. It's kind of like the werewolves. The werewolf designs are all unique and different. They're shout-outs to classic werewolves of cinema. So a couple of the werewolves don't look particularly great. One of them, I would say, but the other two look really good. Very entertaining, gory, cool little twist. I enjoyed it. Pretty fun. The next one is called The Finger, and I thought this was the best of the whole series. It's a little creature one, so I'm dead into this. I love little creature films. This is about kind of like a parasitic, not really parasitic relationship, but this kind of loser of a guy finds this finger, and he gets some alcohol spills on it, and the finger grows into a little creature that becomes like his best friend, his pet, but it goes out and kills people he's angry with, and he starts to kind of he seems to be off, and then the ending, ties it all together. Really great episode. DJ Qualls stars in it, does a really good performance. I love this one. Really cool stuff. And this one was Greg Nicotero did this one. Like I said, the lighting in this one's a little bit more like Creepshow. And the only thing really missing for these is the music, because that Creepshow music is so iconic, and I don't know if they can't license it or anything, but they really need it. And if they had that, I think it would make a lot of difference. But they're entertaining so far. All four are worth watching. I think The Finger is the best. So yeah, really love that one. So I guess we're going to hop into the first review, and this is a doozy. It's from Severn Films, and this is it's a producer who directed this one. He used to work with Fulci and a bunch of people, but it's Killer Crocodile. This is the special edition that comes with Killer Crocodile 2 as well, and I will be covering that. So yeah, let's get into this. Killer Crocodile. I saw this years ago and always loved it. It's one of my favorite Italian Jaws ripoffs. I love crocodiles and alligator horror, especially when they're practical. This one is an Italian film, if you guys didn't know. Gianetto De Rossi does the special effects. Riz Ortolani does the music. That should make your guys' ears pucker up, because those are two of the, infamous people from Italian films. Riz Ortolani did the score to Cannibal Holocaust. Gianetti De Rosso did the score, the special effects to like the Fulci movies like Zombie and Beyond and all those great and gory effects. So this one, it's cheap. It's dirt cheap. It's shot, I can't remember where it's shot, but it's definitely not in Italy. It's shot in a very, exotic location, probably to save on money, of course, and get the location down. What we have here is this crocodile who's been mutated by illegal dumping of toxic waste. It is the late 80s, early 90s. You guys remember those movies. Toxic waste causes ridiculous things all the time. Also pretty much similar to the story of Alligator, the 1981 by Louis Teague, where they're dumping the, weird chemicals in the sewer and it grows the alligator giant. This is kind of, similar to that. So they're dumping into this swamp, and this giant killer crocodile is killing the locals and killing people. This movie opens up. In fact, this opened up with like two openings. And the first opening on this I never saw. It wasn't on the original DVD import I had or on any version I saw. It involves a couple swimming, very Jaws-like. But then it goes into the original opening, which I remember, of the two fishermen, which plays really terrifying. Two fishermen are complaining about nothing in the swamp, being there because it's polluted, and then all of a sudden this crocodile comes out of the darkness, and it always freaked me out. It's an awesome scene, and it's cheesy but scary, and I love those kind of movies. So what happens is some environmentalists come in, the lead one played by Richard Crenna's son, Anthony Crenna. They come in and they want to find out what's wrong with the swamp, and they find the toxic waste. They start to make a stink about it. The mayor of the town and some greedy businessmen try to stop them. And everybody gets the attention of this local crocodile hunter who is in a bunch of these movies. He looks like the Italian Lee Van Cleef. He's also in The Last Shark, where he gets killed by the giant shark, and his luck is not so great in the sequel of this one. So I always thought that was funny that this guy got killed by a giant crocodile and a giant shark in these Italian movies within a few years of each other. So he plays this kind of, tough poacher kind of guy. And actually, he's one of those guys who's like, we gotta kill. You think that I'm just a prick that doesn't like the swamp and all. And then, of course, the environmentalist and this jaded kind of crocodile hunter have to team up and stop the killer crocodile. It's scary when the crocodile comes out, although it's not that functional. It looks really good, I think, even for a low budget. I know that sometimes its eyes don't move, it looks cheap, but it's practical, and for some reason that big thing in the water, it just scares me. I'm not gonna lie, it freaks me out. I actually love how it looks, so that's a plus for me. It's Jaws ripoff, but it's Italian and it's super fun, and the special effects are pretty decent, and there's some gore and blood in here, and they do some fun things with the cameras. Well, the crocodile is like rising up out of the water. It's huge, and like you'll be in like the boat, but in the room, and you'll see it through the glass rising up, and just do some cool, unique camera work in here. So I like that. There's some special features on here which are nice. An interview with Gennaro De Rossi, interview with a couple of the actors, including Anthony Crenna. The other actors they both tell really fun stories, and one tells some crazy things about being forced to snort cocaine there. And then there's also an interview with the cinematographer. They all kind of paint the story about this producer. He's not the easiest guy to work with. He's not the most friendly. He could be kind of irritable, but at the same time, Gennaro liked him. But Gennato's had a long and prolific career, so he's used to dealing with probably difficult types. I would recommend checking this one out. It looks really good. It sounds good. It's a very enjoyable Jaws ripoff, and one of the better Jaws ripoffs I've ever seen, to be honest. I like the location. I like the crocodile. Good stuff. So let's roll that trailer.
You're gonna hunt it down and kill it, aren't you?
Sure, we're gonna kill it, aren't we, Joe?
You bet, Judge. Consider it already dead.
No!
No what?
We're against killing of any kind. Our work here's important. Someone's polluting these swamps, and it's our job to find out who.
I'm not surprised. Take a look at this. The dyes reveal high acid levels caused by industrial waste.
Kevin, watch out! He's behind you! Kevin! Kevin! Faster!
You still think the crocodile should be saved?
If I get the chance, I won't hesitate to kill it.
It takes a special breed to make it in there.
What do you think it was, Doc?
It could have been a boat prop.
That's crap. It looks like a croc to me. And a big one.
Okay, what's one without the other? We're going to talk about Killer Crocodile Part 2. Now, see, you can only get this from Severin if you buy the 2-disc, and I recommend buying the 2-disc because not only do you get Killer Crocodile 2, which is more of the same, it's directed by Giannetto De Rossi, the special effects artist, and he has, on this disc, they have an hour and a half, like kind of like documentary about him and his career with a bunch of interviews with experts and himself and other people, and that was a treat to see because this guy is kind of underrated. He doesn't get much appreciation, but when I think special effects, I think him. He even went on to do stuff like High Tension, and his effects are very memorable and very him. I love them. So we get that as well of the movie. Let me talk about the movie a little bit, Killer Crocodile 2. Like I said, more of the same. This time we have a reporter who's going to go into the swamp and try to figure out if they did get rid of the toxic barrels, but we have more Jaws storyline where this kind of a businessman or mayor, whoever the hell he is, wants to reopen the swamp. It's safe. We got the barrels out, but you know they didn't. So it has these kind of guys like all around the swamp acting like they're getting the barrels out, and there's these like 3 asshole kind of bad guys, and there's a great scene where the crocodile attacks them in their hut and he breaks through the whole hut and he's giant. It's horrifying. It's freaking awesome, and he takes the whole hut in the river. Just very, very ambitious for how cheap this movie is. Giannetto is not proud of this movie. He does not like this movie. He says, I pretty much all the movies I made were crap. So that's what he basically says. I think it's enjoyable. There's a really kind of mean-spirited, but it comes off funny because it's this movie scene. In the first one, there's a scene that reminds me of Humanoids from the Deep, too. So I'll just keep talking about the second one here. It's very kind of mean-spirited but funny, kind of like the Amsterdam scene, where there's a person's body that swings in front of the boat of, like, tourists, and everybody starts screaming. There's a scene like that reminds me of that, where this boat of children and nuns gets flipped over by the killer crocodile and eaten. And I'm just like, that's so appalling. If this movie was, like, completely straight, you'd be like, oh my god, but it's, like, cheesy, and it's fun in a way, and you're just like, oh, I can't believe they're doing that. So you kind of chuckle a little bit. Anthony Crenna and the poacher come back to try to fight the killer crocodile, and this time, you know, throughout the first one you see the change of the environmentalist. I'll kill it, you know, kind of that kind of soft-spoken guy has to become a monster, and now he's full go against the killer crocodile. I think the effects in this one are a little bit more gory, but it's more of the same. Crocodile has a nasty end like the first one. Very entertaining. I recommend picking this up, the double disc, because both are fun. Both are about the same level of quality. And you get the Giannetto De Rossi documentary, which you really need to watch. He talks about working with Stallone and Rambo 2 and everything, and being on Dune, and it's cool. It's a nice story because he starts off on like Italian art films, goes into the Italian gore films, makes his way to Hollywood. So it's a long career. He's on here. He's still alive, and it's a really nice release, to be honest. Loved it.
Por favor. ¡Dios! ¡Allá! fighting me!
Okay, the next one is from MVD Rewind, and this is My Samurai, made in the early 90s. I had never heard of this movie, to be honest. So I was like, My Samurai? What's going on? What is this? So I put it in, and it's pretty much, it was released by Imperial Pictures, so you can expect, you know, cheesy kind of martial arts movie, and that's what this is. This is one of these movies where it feels like they hired just a bunch of, like, kind of martial artists and patched a movie together. Very cheesy. I would have guessed that a martial artist directed it. Kind of like, what was that really cheesy movie that Garage House Pictures put out? Is it Garage House Pictures? I can't think of it, where it's like a group of people, like a dojo, just went out and made a movie. That's what this feels like to me, to be honest. Or is it Alamo Drafthouse put that one out? It's a ridiculous movie, and it's a lot like this. We have this samurai instructor. He's not a samurai instructor. He's a taekwondo, but you know, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the definition, perfect definition of a samurai. Maybe it just means protector, whatever. Okay, so we have this child who is in his class. He witnesses a murder. These bad guys start tracking him down. The teacher, instructor get involved. The girl who dropped him off. So these bad guys are tracking him down across the city. And Terry O'Quinn plays the boy's father. Bubba Smith plays a minister who helps him. So that's kind of cool to see them pop up in here. Terry O'Quinn is always great. The Stepfather, Tombstone, Lost, Young Guns. He's in tons of things. Great actor. Great actor. And Bubba Smith's fun in it. He gets a nice little role. But this movie is super cheese-tastic. When they're running away, they end up going through this kind of desolate, broken down city, and like some rejects from the Warriors come out, and they're absolutely ridiculous. They have these wigs on, and I'm like, what is going on? In fact, all the bad guys have their own kind of style of karate. They look really cheesy 90s bad guys. I swear every character walked out of a Double Dragon video game and ended up in this movie, and they're like, yeah. So like, it's just, there's so many different styles and ridiculous karate guys. Some of the karate's okay. Some, you know, is not perfect. It's not perfect. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But it's fun. It's cheesy. I laugh quite a bit. And the lead's not an actor. He's more of a martial artist first. But there is some decent martial artists in the movie. One of the guys was a champion, one of the main bad guys. And there's this big kind of ogre guy that looks like he just came right out of Deadbeat at Dawn and Double Dragon. He's a tall guy. He's got kind of a mullet. He's just huge. And like the bad guys they stand out. They're memorable. They're cheesy. And it's pretty funny, to be honest, in a lot of ways. And it ends in like them all driving up to kill like the kid and the witness in snow. It's nonsense. It's pure, utter nonsense. But I think people that like these cheesy martial arts movies will really dig it. It's fun. It's like, it's a failure in a lot of ways, but it's entertainment. Entertaining always, and it's kind of cheesiness. There's an interview with the main martial artist on here, and a guy who did some of the stunts. And he also has a small role in this movie. They talk a little bit about his career, about the director passing away. It's kind of sad. And then there's an interview with the actor who played the lead gang member. And in this movie, I'm like, who is this gang member doing? He looks way too like old to be playing this. He doesn't really fit the role. And they have him rewatch a couple scenes. He's like, I never saw The Thing. And he's watching it and he's like, oh, that's pretty grim special martial artist there. And he's like, oh man, I'm not very good. And then he's like, I guess that little finger thing's nice. And that whole scene's hilarious because he's just kind of reliving it and just being like, oh, he's like, he enjoyed his time on the set, but he knows what the movie is. And he, you know, it's something that's very, you know, realistic. He's just like, oh wow, it's fun. It's fun to watch him relive these moments and kind of be semi-charmed and embarrassed by the thing altogether. And I believe there's an interview with one of the main martial artists in here as a champion and things like that. And this was his first movie. So yeah, it's entertaining and it's goofy. It looks pretty good. The sound is a little off. I imagine that's just the only elements they had. But yeah, that's My Samurai.
I've just got a few questions. It won't take very long.
Sure. What can we do?
You can die.
3 people accused of murder.
Public will believe anything, because
dead cop involved.
I was waiting for my dad's secretary to give me a ride home.
What other body?
Now the only one who can save us is my teacher, my protector, my samurai.
Who's that kid? Whoever that kid was, he's seen us. I'll take care of him.
But my samurai took care of him.
Oh my God!
Even though this is self-defense, you still need to go through the motions.
Innocent or guilty.
Why'd you kill that cop?
On the run from the law, they're on their own.
Now the police are out there hunting my boy.
This thing is getting out of hand.
Go!
He's mine.
When your life's on the line, you gotta have your own personal weapon. My Samurai.
Okay, the next one is Zombarella's House of Horrors, and this is by Tony Mazzanello. I always say his name wrong probably, but this is the second of his films that he released. He released Metal Noir. This is the SOV Horror Volume 2. He actually directed this one, along with Tim Ritter. So it is an anthology. There's 3 films on here, 3 shorts on here. One, I believe, appeared on another one, I think Frames of Fear or something like that. I do remember seeing it. So yeah, it's not just 3 films. It's like a whole all-nighter kind of Elvira type deal. We have Zombarella, who basically is running through all these ads and trailers, and then the 3 shorts. So what we have is kind of like WNUF Halloween Special, or that one. It's a little like that, but there's tons of trailers and tons of ads. I'm going to be honest, it does get a little repetitive at times with some of the ads, but sometimes the repetitiveness works with the movie, where it adds like comedy elements in there, so I laughed a couple times here and there because of that, although sometimes it does kind of, wear out its welcome, but it's all in kind of like the balancing that and humor and stuff. So yeah, okay, Zombarella, she's making fun of the movie she's hosting. She says suck fest, snooze fest, and a couple times when she said, I can't wait to get back to Fred Olin Wood's suck fest, I started cracking up. Fred Olin, the director of these movies that they're talking about, are directed by Fred Olin Wood, Fred Olin Ray, Ed Wood. So they're kind of like intentionally bad deals. And what's funny is the acting in here and the short is over the top, but it's a movie within a movie, so it kind of makes sense to me in a lot of ways. Like otherwise, when they do the over the top acting on purpose in some movies, I cringe and I can't watch it. This, for some reason, it works. I'm not sure why, but that might be the why that it's in kind of an within a movie, type deal. Some of the ads are really funny. They're like the sex hotline ads, and then they have kind of lower expectations dating service type deal from Mad TV. They have people on there that just kind of, and Tim Ritter actually plays like a metal guy, and he's like, yeah, if you're into metal. And that always cracks me up because the crazy metalheads that you see at horror conventions and just general, there's a lot of them. Not a lot, most of them are cool, but there's some that are just like, yeah, and you're just like, what? You know what I mean? That's all. Every picture, they're like, got to take that serious face, which always cracks me up. But yeah, so there's that. But there's just lots of, fun things like that in here. The movie advertises tons of nudity, and it doesn't let you down in that aspect. It's covered in them. It's covered in lots of TNA, lots of boobs popping out. So the fake trailers consist of, stuff that he did over the years, the director did over the years. Some are really funny. There's like 3 cannibal vampires from space or something like that. And by the time the 3rd one came on right in a row, I started laughing. I was like, I'm doing a 3rd one? Lots of, castration. More castration than you could shake a stick at. But the first one I saw actually looked pretty grueling. It looked pretty realistic. Yeah. So the stories are as follows. There's a date kind of gone bad, which, is all right. And then there's one by Tim Ritter involving an alien kind of weird sex thing, which is okay. And the last one is The Doll, about a ventriloquist doll, which I enjoyed the most. The shorts are okay. They're not horrible, but as a whole package, it's kind of a fun little evening, watching all these trailers and things like that. So I kind of enjoyed it. I think it might be worth checking out. It is an SOV, so yeah. And I do think the 3rd is probably the strongest of the bunch. Zombarella is pretty funny as well. So that's Zombarella's House of Horrors.
I'm waiting.
Okay, this next one is directed by Mrparka, and this is a sequel to the original I Spit on Your Grave. This is I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. Okay, I was kind of interested in this big time because we've had the I Spit on Your Grave remake now and 2 sequels to that and an unofficial sequel, Savage Vengeance. So now we have this one, an official sequel to the original done years later, which kind of is really strange to me, to be honest. So I put this in and I was really unsure. Camille Keaton comes back, and this is a movie about, having to pay for your revenge. Jamie Bernadette, I believe is her name. She plays Camille Keaton's daughter, and Maria Olsen plays kind of the main person, the main baddie, I guess I'll say. Essentially what happens is the people that are related to the original characters, original baddies in the old film come back for revenge. And Camille Keaton has been doing this book tour. She became kind of famous. Her daughter is a world famous model. So basically these two get kidnapped, put out into the woods, and they have to kind of fight off the bad guys and try to survive. I'll leave it at that. This is going to be very hard to say because this movie is really weird. When I was watching it, I was like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Like, some of this has to be like a comedy. I'm not really 100% sure if this is a comedy or 100% straight serious. The performances, in like The Searchers, when John Wayne, they show his face when he looks in and sees his butchered family and they only show his face, he just kind of that and walks away. This is the antithesis of that. It's the complete opposite. Everybody's over the top. Everybody is preaching to the cheap seats. The performances are very dedicated and very loud. And some I think end up being, good. And some I think are like, oh my God, that's just too much for me. I can't stand it. And most of that's how the characters are written. I think that the daughter, I can't think of her name right now, she does okay. I think that Maria Olsen, although over the top at times, it's got to be in the script. There's a couple scenes where she gets to shine in this monologue when there's a scene with her in the cemetery in a monologue. Probably the best scene in the whole movie. It's probably the best lit too, because they kind of have this like memoriam to their family members that died, and there's a backdrop which the sky is orange, and they're going to kind of pay respects to their lost loved ones. And she gives this big, long speech, and she's kind of a religiously jaded woman. So, not jaded, but her religion's all messed up. So she goes in and she gives this big, nice, really long monologue, and it's a really, really powerful performance. And there's 4 characters, all related to each one. Johnny, they're related to Johnny, Stanley, Andy, and Matthew. So we have the father of Matthew, who also seems to be a little bit slow, the wife of Johnny, and the brother of Stanley, and the cousin of Andy. I'm not sure how these tie up because this is 40 years later. I'm not sure how the age group would really work. It kind of seems weird, kind of like Texas Chainsaw 3D. I'm like, where is the time phase? Because that guy's not 40 years old. I don't understand. Maybe it doesn't take place in modern day. Maybe it takes place like 20 years ago. I don't know. Doesn't really understand the chronological stuff and going on here in the time frames and stuff. Maybe I Spit on a Grave didn't take place in 78 in this one. Maybe it took place in like 98. I don't know. But just saying that, it's kind of just seems weird. Like I said, there's a couple of the characters in here. The guy who plays Stanley's brother is his character's so annoying and so ridiculous, and it is a very dedicated performance, but I wish somebody would have told him to pull it back because he's just going, and it's just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I wish they would have pulled his performance back because it's just way too over the top, and I don't know if it's supposed to be comedic or serious or a little bit of both, but it's just kind of like uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. There is some gnarly gore in here, but there is some digital that mixed with the gore. When the digital doesn't look good, but when they do the practical and stuff in here, it looks okay. No complaints there. It is very long. It's nearly 2.5 hours long, so I would say that it probably could be cut by an hour. I don't know where they'd cut it exactly. I think I could figure out some moments, and people are going to complain about that, and then it's only to become like trite and cheap to complain about a runtime on a movie. Okay, I understand, but still, it's way too long for what it is. If it needs to be 2.5 hours, it needs to be. This does not need to be. I think that the first 30 minutes or so is all dialogue with the mother and setting things up. I think Camille Keaton's performance is dedicated. She's running around a graveyard without shoes on, but I don't think it's nearly as strong as her first performance in the first movie or any other performance she did, to be honest. I think she's stronger in Zalatirsica. I think she's stronger in I Spit on Your Grave. And I don't want to be negative on this movie, to be honest. Like, I know that a lot of people have already been pretty harsh on it, but I did not particularly enjoy this. Like I said, there's these spots of really well-acted moments, and then they're ruined by other things where I'm like, oh, wow, that was really rough acting. It's just kind of mixture. I think that the performers are dedicated 110%. I think they give it their all, and there is a nasty rape scene in the movie as well. I do think that, especially at one point, the guy who plays Matthew's father completely loses his mind. And that was really intense and stuff like that. There's like moments of intensity and good performances in here. I think there's a good film in here somewhere, somehow. Again, I was often confused if this was supposed to be a comedy or a straightforward movie, or the performances were just supposed to be kind of a kooky small town, because everybody in this town is off. There's a kind of a couple twist or a double twist in here, and here it's just a strange kind of movie, and I'm not sure if this kind of film could really be made in these days or in anything. And while watching it, I was almost like, really don't want to revisit the first one after this, because I'm just not sure it's going to hold up like it used to, because that movie I used to think was like one of the greatest exploitation horror films ever, revenge movies ever made, and I haven't watched it in probably a good decade, and I used to really like it, and I'm just not sure how it's going to hold up, especially after watching this one. And I shouldn't say that just doesn't make sense to blame a sequel for, but I'm just worried in general, because sometimes movies don't hold up. But yeah, I can't really vouch for this movie. I think that it's just kind of painful in a lot of bad ways, and I do think there's stuff in there that's worth saving. Like I said, Maria Olsen has a great monologue in here, and I thought that she gave a great performance. Like I said, very dedicated performances, very dedicated, film, I guess, by a lot of people. It's just, it doesn't work for me, and I hate to say that, to be honest. I spit on your grave. The next one, I wanted to watch something special for the Halloween season, and this is 1973's Messiah of Evil. Yeah, this is a Code Red release. I hadn't seen this in a while. This movie's a freaking masterpiece. I rewatched it. Listening to other people talk about it, I was like, I'm kind of in the mood to watch something actually scary. And I remember Messiah of Evil being loaded with atmosphere. Okay, this movie is very Lovecrafty in a lot of ways. It's loaded with creepy atmosphere and narration. I know some people think narration is lazy. I don't see it here. Some of the parts I think the narration is not needed, but I do think that in the opening and ending, the narration is damn perfect. Okay, so we have, I think her name is Maria Hill, or Mariana Hill. I can't think of the actress's name. But she's getting these letters from her father, played by legendary character actor Royal Dano, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Drum, tons of stuff. She's getting these letters from Royal Dano, her father, saying all sorts of... Well, actually, she goes to look for him, I believe. It's not even letters initially. She goes to look for him at his kind of isolated, kind of like, I don't want to say lakeside, or it's lakeside or beachside, oceanside kind of home, and she finds this diary that he has written. It's all creepy, and he starts to deteriorate, and you start to learn about it. But maybe she did initially receive letters. I can't 100% remember. But okay, so she goes to search for her father, and she realizes this small area is completely creepy. When she goes into town, she sees this albino person who is just actually kind of terrifying, and this gas station tenant, also played by a character actor, can't think of his name, tells her to get the hell out of there because he sees bodies in the back of the truck, and it sets up this really creepy atmosphere in this town right away, where you're like, what in the hell is going on? Not to mention the narration opening this thing was probably some of the scariest narration ever. If you guys have ever heard it, no one will hear you scream. It sets you up that someone has gone mad, which is a very Lovecraftian thing right in the beginning. If you look at read Dagon, it's somebody from the hospital bed telling you a story how they went mad, and you don't know whether to believe them or not. So you have that in the opening of this, and as it goes on, you see what happened, and it is a creepy thing in this movie. These are actual lunatics in here that seem to be driven mad by the moon because of some ancient god, which is super Lovecraftian, okay? She meets a couple other people, these artist types, one guy who's interested in what happened in this town 100 years ago, which involved this blood moon. So right when she walks in, she sees him interviewing this kind of homeless guy who knows of the story through his father, and it's played by Elijah Cook Jr., who's in the Big Sleep. So yeah, and he gives this great story, and it's really creepy. And so you kind of understand that there's something happening in this town. There's some weird superstitious things going on. It kind of reminds me of Dead and Buried to a certain extent. But this is way ahead of its time, and just so impactful and creepy, and the atmosphere is amazing. And I would be, I would be guilty of something if I didn't mention there's two amazing scenes in here. One that takes place in a supermarket, and one that takes place in a movie theater. And those scenes are genuinely how you build a scare instead of a cheap jump scare. Not all cheap jump scares are cheap, but you build these terrifying moments. Every scare, there's dread. The music's great. It's just really creepy and horrifying. And when she actually faces her father, it's just very terrifying in a lot of ways. And when the longer you're in this town, you start to be infected by whatever these people have as well. So without giving too much away, it becomes kind of like a bizarre great zombie film in a lot of ways. Like, and they're like actual lunatics. It's Lovecraftian inspired. It ends on such a downbeat, creepy way. Highly recommended. Damn near masterpiece, to be honest. Walter Hill has a little role in here, and I was like, "Is that?" When I saw it in the credits, I was like, "Whoa, that was Walter Hill! Wow, that's crazy. But I would highly recommend checking this out. There is a commentary with the directors on here. There's a pair of directors. There's also an interview with some of the people involved with the movie. They talk about, being offered to make a horror film, and they decided to take it. And they say their inspirations were more from like foreign horror, like classic kind of horror, and like earlier horror, not the 60s and 70s stuff. So it kind of shows like art films from Italy. And those movies usually are pretty good. Films made by not necessarily horror fanatics are usually pretty terrifying in a lot of ways. And some of the best horror movies, which is surprising as well. So I would highly recommend watching this movie. It's perfect, to be honest. There's good character actors, there's good acting, there's good music, there's really creepy opening and ending. It's Lovecraftian. It's damn near perfect. Like I said, it's a freaking masterpiece, and I was so happy to rewatch it. So Messiah of Evil, great name. And unfortunately, this movie was stuck in that kind of public domain area, so a lot of prints look like crap, so I don't think it got the appreciation it deserves, or the presentation it usually should get. But still, it does have a nice, decent Blu-ray from Code Red. And also I want to mention that, did you guys ever notice that the zombie movies from 68 to 78, the ones that were in between Night and Dawn, are some of the most powerful and weird and unique? Like, I know Garden of the Dead's not a perfect movie, but that's weird as hell. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, weird as hell. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie is amazing. Tombs of the Blind Dead is really cool. This one is top notch. The Child is really weird. So you had such cool, unique zombie movies. And then you got the Dawn of the Dead burst of Italian stuff. And you got great zombie movies after that too. But it's interesting to see how the zombie movie evolved. And they were used so differently until Dawn of the Dead. I know Night kind of made that. And then Dawn kind of solidified it, but with those zombies like that. But there's these weird kind of really scary zombies between 68 and 77, I think. So yeah, that is Messiah of Evil.
And they're waiting. They're waiting for you. And they'll take you one by one, and no one will hear you scream. No one will hear you scream!
Okay, this next one is by a director. This is his first. It's a short. I think his name is David Bachmeister is how you'd say it. I'm not 100%, but he directed this film called Back Again. This is a little poster of it. Yeah, I'm going to get into this. This is obviously the first time I've been introduced to his movie, as it is his first. It is a 20-minute short, filled with kind of horror shout-outs. The main character, or the main villain's name is Tommy Lee Jarvis. I was like, okay, we have a Friday the 13th shout-out right there. And we open up with some kind of a news, I guess, segment, or kind of a story, like, framing device by Glenn Coburn, director of Bloodsuckers from Outer Space and writer of, Whacked Films. So he kind of opens up with a little thing like that in the opening. So I was like, all right. And then we have kind of a Burke and Hare Reanimator style thing going on where they dig up this body. Unfortunately to them, they dug up serial killer Tommy Lee Jarvis. He wakes up and goes on a kill crazy rampage. That's pretty much the entire film. The positives, the special effects are really fun, really splattery, really goofy and fun. It's kind of that style, maybe Peter Jackson style, goofy, gory effects. The kill count's ridiculously high for a 20-minute movie. There's 8 people that get slashed in here. Some of the gore is good. Like I said, most of the gore is really good. And if it's not good, it's over the top in its way that it's supposed to be. There's a castration in here. Again, a bunch of castration in horror movies, and that looked real. I'm surprised that the actual member looked surprisingly real in this one compared to a lot of movies that I've seen. So I enjoyed that. The music is actually kind of cool too. There's a little bit of a thing that got stuck in my head for a while. The sound is a little rough in places, but that's expected on an independent movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool, and it's going to be kind of a short here because it is a short. It's 20 minutes. How long can I talk about it? But the horse shout outs, I almost was thinking, oh no, is this a fan film? Is this going to be so horror, like, shout out full, like, full that it gets annoying and stuff like that? But it didn't, and I thought that it was kind of a mixture of Friday the 13th Part 6 and The Reanimator, which I can kind of get behind. Those are both really enjoyable horror films, and I think this guy is obviously a big fan. Although it is, kind of like typical in a lot of ways, but it does what it's supposed to pretty well. James L. Edwards has a small little role in here. That's nice to see. Always love James L. Edwards from like Bloodletting, and Her Name is Krista. So yeah, I checked this one out. I don't. He sold me like a little kind of poster and disc for like $5 at Wasteland. I'm not sure if other reviewers are looking to review it. He might have a link for you guys. I'm not sure if he'd be selling a hard copy anytime soon. But yeah, that is back again.
Hammer time!
For all who are willing to pay the price, we invite you to go through the mirror of life.
Alright guys, it's hammer time. There we go. And it is week 22 or 21, something like that. 22? Okay. And we're going to cover Don Sharp's 1966 movie starring Christopher Lee, Rasputin, the Mad Monk. Alright. This was the one that was paired up with Dracula Prince of Darkness when they made it, so they were shot on like kind of the same set, same time. So yeah, has a lot of the same cast of that movie. Barbara Shelley, the guy who is the lead in Dracula Prince of Darkness, I can't think of his name. He's also the assistant to the Baron in Revenge of Frankenstein. He's in this. It stars Paul from The Gorgon is also in this as kind of like a drunken doctor. Mm-hmm. And it's got a bunch of people in it. So yeah, this movie to me, I've always been kind of fascinated by Rasputin. And this one is surprisingly more historically accurate than you would think a Hammer horror movie would be.
Yeah.
So let's get into this, I guess. Rasputin was a historical figure that kind of somehow weaseled his way into like the Tsar's good side by taking care of their kid, and had a kind of a supernatural like mystique about him. In the Hammer film, they make him have a supernatural power, kind of like the Purple Man, where he can kind of hypnotize or basically encourage people to manipulate,
like a power of influence.
Influence,
kinda.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is Rasputin, right in the opening of this, saves a girl's life. And so you're like, okay, this is kind of strange. Maybe he's not as bad as you think. And then he proceeds to be like a womanizing drunkard throughout the rest of the movie. And that's kind of what Rasputin really was. So it's a little bit more close to the real Rasputin.
Yeah, Rasputin's he's a character that pops up in lots of movies, lots of times. There's many
renditions.
Renditions, iterations. He's always a fun character to work with. I think he's in the Kingsman movie.
Yeah, it looks like he's in the new Kingsman movie.
Yeah, it might be Rasputin.
That's definitely Rasputin. There's no one that quite looks like that.
Yeah. Obviously Anastasia, Hellboy.
Yeah, of course. We talked about this a little bit last week. He's also in The Agony, the movie that's like this big, like epic Rasputin, like historical drama.
Yeah, and so he's a very real person who has been like almost like mythologicalized, and it's just always interesting to me, especially because he's a more contemporary figure.
Yeah. Like last podcast on the left said that he probably would have lived if he wasn't murdered to have heard the first Elvis hit, which just kind of blows your mind if you think about that. And Elvis died in 1977. So
right.
Wow, that's weird. The high point of this movie is Christopher Lee's performance.
Definitely Christopher Lee's performance.
Playing like a sleazy, womanizing, drunkard kind of guy. He's really great in it. There's a wonderful scene where he wins in a drinking competition with somebody, and it recalls the scene with Vincent Price and Peter Lorre in one of the old AIP anthologies, Twice Told Tales or Tales of Terror. I can't remember which one.
It's like a combination of, like, I think the Cask of
Montiano
and the Black Cat.
I think so. I don't remember which one that appears in, but it's definitely one of the AIP Vincent Price anthologies, one of the two I named. Yeah, and there's like kind of a scene similar to that in here. They use really cool matte paintings because it's in Russia, so behind in the windows you'll see like the landscape or like the building setting suns and stuff of all these buildings. And it looks really cold in here. Barbara Shelley's great in it. She plays someone that unfortunately is manipulated and falls in love with Rasputin and has a tragic end.
Barbara Shelley, she's been getting better and better the more we see her.
The Gorgon, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, and hopefully she's in some more.
Right.
This director, what else did he do? He did Kiss of the Vampire, Don Sharp, I believe, didn't he?
Was Kiss of the Vampire, was that the
cult one?
The cult one.
Yeah, I believe he did that one as well. And he would go on to do Curse of the Fly, which I hear mixed things about. That's not a Hammer film, of course, but yeah. So I really like this one.
I do like this one. The acting's solid through pretty much every character.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other characters besides Christopher Lee and Barbara Shelley that really stand out to me. I did like the Doctor.
Yeah, he's good, and because he has that kind of he's kind of a haunted character. He's a drunk that gets put in a position of power because of Rasputin's political influence, and he still doesn't want it because he knows Rasputin's evil. Mm-hmm. It's one of those guys that's kind of has to redeem himself. I think the character's name is Ivan. He, the guy who plays the lead in Dracula Prince of Darkness, he's like a reluctant hero here. And that's realistic how they portray that end scene, how they kind of poison Rasputin. And I was just shocked how close it was to how it has actually happened. So that was really cool as well.
Yeah, like really all the characters in this movie are kind of garbage people.
Well, I do like the guy who actually stands up and does something.
Yeah, he probably has like the least amount of like dubious intent.
Yeah.
And maybe the Tsarina.
Yeah, and Barbara Shelley's not terrible. She's manipulated, that's why.
She's manipulated, but she's also... Yeah, I guess she was manipulated the whole time.
But it's really good. It's a great performance by Christopher Lee, and it is a horror movie because he literally has powers like Count Dracula or something like that.
Yeah, there's horrific stuff going on.
And I'm not even sure if in the Hammer movies Dracula has that power to, hypnotize. I think that's only in the Universal and possibly the book. And this one, they kind of they just give it to Rasputin instead.
I know it's in the book. I haven't seen the Universal Dracula movies in a very long time. But he definitely has like the hypnotizing power of influence kind of power, like look into my eyes.
I'll tell you what's not in this is not in the books that we review, so that's kind of sucks. It's not either. No reviews for it in there, so we don't have tear on tape or creature features to rate from. I would say that this looks great. It's in Dracula's castle again. Right?
It is in Dracula's castle. Like the window that they push Rasputin out of in the end. He like lands on the ground and you look 2 feet over and there's like Dracula under the ice.
Yeah, you could see Dracula over there. Like, let me out. But you said what's funny is you had a Rasputin action figure like from McDonald's.
Yeah. Like it's so baffling to me. It's like you just have a Rasputin action figure. It was when Anastasia came out. They like had little toys and
we should have all political influencers.
Like, exactly.
And political politicians. You get Gorbachev. And he'd have like the Russian sickle, and like fight Ronald Reagan,
like a little spot that like disappeared when it got wet or something.
When it got warm.
Yeah, when it got warm.
That would be great. Like, how about it? Nobody knew it was Gorbachev until like he got warm, and then the spot came. It's Gorbachev.
He was undercover the whole time.
That's the only disguise he does is cover the
comrade,
cover the birthmark. He's like, all right, my comrades. Like, what did you say?
Like Rasputin is just a weird character to have a McDonald's toy.
And it's a weird history too. Weird story in general.
I've always liked the story of the Last Tsars.
It's weird and it's really scary, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I would recommend checking out the last podcast on the left of Rasputin. That one's pretty interesting. They cover him.
This movie came out in 68?
66.
66?
Yeah.
So I think this would have been... Well, it would have been much later by the time that they found Anastasia and... Because I think that's more in the 40s.
Well, when we put it how contemporary this kind of Rasputin character is, we said like Rasputin was probably died like a few years before Lee was born.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's so weird to me, like around
exactly.
that. Yeah. Christopher Lee was born in the 20s, and he died in like the early teens.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, that's how contemporary it was. Christopher Lee almost was alive at the same time he was portraying this guy.
I wonder if this is the first Rasputin-themed movie.
I doubt it.
Can you think of any other ones?
Not off the top of my head, but I guarantee it. Especially in Russia, there had to be a few.
Oh, I'm sure in Russia, yeah. But I can't even imagine Russian cinema.
Agony, that one was Russian.
How...
That was after this. That was a 70s movie. That movie was pretty insane to watch.
Would you say it was agonizing?
Agonizing.
Agony.
What do you mean?
Like agony and like you would
Oh, jeez, come on.
Well, you're the one who didn't get it. I'm sure everybody else did.
I'm recovering from Wasteland. Agony, the life and death of Rasputin. Yeah, but I would highly recommend checking this one out. Lee gives one of his better performances. Never gives a bad performance, but seeing him as this kind of like sleazy character. And I love that at points, like, he's like, this is a gift from God, but this preacher tells him, no, it's a gift from the devil, and he kind of just embraces it, like his powers, you know.
Mm-hmm. Would you say... I'd say like 4 on this.
3.5 to 4.
3.5
somewhere.
to
Probably 3.75 out of 5.
Yeah.
So like 7.5, 8. Yeah, I'm around the same boat.
So what's your favorite interpretation of Rasputin that you've seen?
He's in Hellboy, but he's okay in that. Anastasia's really fun. It's Christopher Lloyd, isn't it?
It is Christopher Lloyd, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with this one.
I'm going to have to go with Anastasia.
This one. That's Christopher Lee. Come on.
It's Christopher Lee, but the one in Anastasia is Christopher Lloyd. And he's in like a necromancer kind of thing going on. So I'm like, okay, all right.
Well, next week is The Reptile. It's the last of the doubles that they shot. Reptile was shot back-to-back with Plague of the Zombies.
Yeah. So next week we get to see which of these
4 for 20th Century Fox is the best of the bunch. And this one's on top so far.
Yeah, this one is on top.
I think it'll be better than The Reptile.
Is The Reptile like a creature movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
woman-snake movie.
A woman
She's
snake?
like a reptile woman.
A reptile woman?
They couldn't get the creature. They had to do something. We don't got a creature. We got a woman. A reptile woman.
This is going to be terrible.
Sold. All right. Well, you guys enjoy the trailer.
Evil. All powerful. All terrifying. Evil to seek you out and destroy. Now, guys and gals alike, disguise yourself from the most inhuman creatures ever to frighten the wits out of you. Get your Rasputin beard free as you enter the theater to see Rasputin, the Mad Monk. History's man of mystery.
You will apologize for laughing at me.
I am not a peasant woman.
What are you?
I am lady in waiting to the Tsarina.
What strange power did this man actually possess? A power that turned people into murderers. Man of violence, terror of a nation. Goaded by an insane lust to dominate even its rulers.
He has the Tsarina in his absolute power. Under hypnosis, he can make her do whatever he wishes. Do you understand what that means? He must be destroyed before he destroys us all.
You will go away and destroy yourself.
Mad! Rasputin, the Mad Monk! Guys and gals, remember, disguise yourself from the forces of evil. Get your Rasputin beard free as you enter the theater.
All right, guys, I guess we're going to hop into the questions. Nick Mua, how do you feel about non-horror DVD Blu-ray companies releasing horror titles? Criterion does this a lot. I think it's great, especially Criterion, because Criterion is like a name of qualities. So it's like, oh, Criterion released it, automatic good movie. So like if I've ever loved a horror movie and had to argue that it was good and Criterion releases it, I'm like, I win. I know that's kind of a funny thing to say and it's not always true, but still. so subjective anyways. But is there any kind of weather that just freaks you out or makes you uncomfortable? Fog does it for me. Thank you. Then he says John Carpenter. Any kind. You know, I mean, it can be unsettling if you're driving and you can't see anything, but no, not really any weather. I kind of like the different styles of weather unless I have to drive in really bad stuff. So if you were the global king of Halloween, how would you spread Halloween all over the world? Anyone that wanted to celebrate it would be able to celebrate it. It would be a national holiday. You wouldn't have to work the day of or the day after, whichever one we determined. Or maybe we close work down. Everybody closes work down at 5 o'clock that evening. Nobody has to work, and then nobody has to work until 5 the next evening. Sound good? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have that shut down so everybody can have Halloween for 24 hours. And yeah, that's what I would do. And I would have the television stations play Halloween movie marathons, horror movies. I would keep, spooky things. It doesn't just need to be gory movies or anything like that. We need actual Halloween stories in there too. So, and we would teach about Halloween in school. We would do that. We'd teach about the history of Halloween. I think that would be cool. So they can learn about Samhain and stuff like that. Because I'd like to learn more about it. So yeah. Answers, what we have. So basically, Peekaboo has an old answer from last week, true crime stories, and then we'll get into the other question from last week. Favorite movie you had to watch in high school or before? You were forced to watch by the teachers. So Peekaboo, speaking of movies based on real crimes, and also the question of the week, Heavenly Creatures by Peter Jackson, starring Kate Winslet, who might have done her first or second movie. It's based on Juliet Hume and Pauline Parker, two teenage girls in New Zealand who killed someone. No spoilers here. A great movie all around, and the fantasy scenes are amazing. Was not forced to watch it though. Okay, that is a good movie. And then Viper Rose 1978. Best movies I was forced to watch in school. There was two: The Outsiders in English class, and we got to watch Suspiria in grade 10 art class. Doesn't get any better than that. Paul Weichel, best movie I watched in school is probably the original Clash of the Titans. Dragon Studio, best movie I saw in school, the remake of Invasions of the Body Snatchers. Nick Moore, we got to see quite a few films in school. My favorite's Billy Elliot. I always found this cute, heartwarming, uplifting family story and gave us Jamie Bell. I also grew up to love Shakir Kapoor's Elizabeth, starring the divine Kate Blanchett and Jeffrey Rush. It's not historically accurate, but the film was and remains a breath of fresh air that changed the period film landscape. Jason Willard, as far as the question of the week, best movie you watched in school, I have two. In history class, we watched Schindler's List, and in high school sociology, we watched The Godfather. Jason Lindbergh, Horror, Night of the Living Dead, Non, Clockwork Orange. Matt Pocock, in high school, Schindler's List. David Lennon, or Lewin, I'm in the UK, so junior school, Star Wars / senior year, Suspiria. Timothy Callan, the bully film on respecting people is funny as hell, dated 1965. Dagger Renau, I actually first saw the original Night of the Living Dead in Miss Vischer's ceramics class. She asked the class if we'd seen it before, and we all said no. She laughed and said, "This is happening right now. You're welcome." She was the best. Daniel Washdog, Adam's Apples. Derek Bourgeois, Bride of Frankenstein. Daniel Tatea in high school, probably Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet, and Lumet's 12 Angry Men. After high school, we watched original prints of incredible films. Jonathan Patrick Hughes, Friday. John Nix, Barton Fink, that's a crazy one. David Smith, Lord of the Flies. Aaron Fram, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 10th grade social studies back in 1992. Skip Barber, Fellini's La Dolce Vita. Tom Landreth, Goonies. Travis McUrin, The Patriot or Clue. Alex Powers, this obscure BBC made-for-TV adaptation of Willie Collins' The Woman in White. Really good, creepy gothic murder mystery. Matthew Hudson, favorite film I watched in class? High school was tough because I don't really remember watching movies in high school. We watched The Final Countdown. I remember liking that. I think I missed part of his answer. Sorry, Matt. BDG Reviews, The Monkey's Paw. It was some made-for-TV type thing, but I remember thinking it was kind of cool. But that they showed us in school. William Adcock, my 12th grade English teacher showed the Zuni fetish doll segment in Trilogy of Terror. Scott Davis, Dr. Strangelove. Lindsay Creature, I went into super religious school where a lot of kids weren't allowed to watch TV and movies, so watching a Muppets Christmas Carol and maybe even Joni is about the only thing I remember besides science stuff. Scott Shermer, Rebel Without a Cause. Jessica Ellison, Mommy Dearest and Wolf Over the Cuckoo's Nest in Psych. To Kill a Mockingbird in Lit. David Anthony Blakeman, Mystic River. Nick Weaver, Stigmata. It was a Catholic school. Nathan Thomas Milner, To Kill a Mockingbird. David Zavala. My senior year in high school, I had a film studies class where my teacher showed us some great stuff. I had already seen most of the films, but I love revisiting them. We watched Assault on Precinct 13, The Thing, Warriors, Brick, Army of Darkness, Better Off Dead, Blood Simple, and some more cool stuff. Most of my classmates didn't appreciate it, but I had a great time. Connor Gorman, Coffee, Forrest Gump. Now, I don't know if that's Connor Gorman Coffee, or you watch Coffee and Forrest Gump. I think it's Coffee's his last name, Forrest Gump. Coy Vega, I think the only film I had seen in class was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Andre Scott, Jaws, Empire Records, Arsenic and Old Lace, all in my high school film class. Stephen W. Simpson, The Wild One. Sigmund D.A., Sea Monster. Red Pavement. Deborah Pike, Sleeper. Independent film, Psychos in Love. Nick Anderson, The Exorcist. Shaheen Barbarian. In 6th grade, my teacher screwed up and showed us End of Days, thinking it was a religious movie appropriate for tweens. It was hilarious. Anthony Edward Curry, The Outsiders. Matt Brown. It's a toss-up between One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Shawshank Redemption. There was always far too many notable films to choose from. Okay. Peter Englund. Love your schools. We never had films showing over here in the Netherlands or school. Oh. Don Adams. I think it was an anti-drug short where foreigners sang Jukebox Hero. Jennifer Hellstrom, Apocalypse Now. Took my class my junior year called The 60s. Brandon Motley, Sybil, and Color of Night. Corey Walter, my history class in 8th grade showed Gangs of New York and American History X. Both were amazing. We had that get a permission slips filled out to watch them. Lisa Marie Cart, I remember watching Logan's Run. It was fantastic. Manuela Motter, The Usual Suspects. I'm not sure if she understood the question. Predator, watched it 5 times. I mean, I know her. She was a friend of my mom's. I don't know if we were in high school when she was there. So, okay, Alan McNeil, Day of the Triffids. Derek Donna King, The Scarlet Letter. Not the Debbie Moore version. Nick Wachowski, The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer. Rachel Weicker, watched it, talking to Nick. Watched that 100 times with you. It's a good one. She puts, I always love The Breakfast Club. Maureen Kern Fairbairn, Grease, The Exorcist, or Deliverance. That's some crazy high school watching there. Jim Werner, imagine being 12 years old in 1977 when Star Wars debuted. No brainer. Kevin Sattler, The Blob, the original one. Corey Billings, Lord of the Flies, definitely stuck with me. Michael Anderson, Sergeant York is the only film I remember ever watching. We watched it at least once a year, every year, from grade school until I graduated high school. Emil Johansson, can't remember the best one but I did watch Meet the Feebles a shit ton of times. In high school? Matt Boland, I was kind of a Philistine till college, but Running Scared starred Paul Walker was my shit and is still super underrated. Mr. Ramon 420. Well, if you're talking about legit watching a film in high school, then it's got to be Schindler's List. In grade school, it was The Land Before Time. Littlefoot was the motherfucking dinosaur and cute as fuck. The Dingus, got to go with Pulp Fiction. It was a game changer. And then, oops, I think I lost 2 reviews, actually. 2 other ones. I can't remember. Geez, maybe that was it. Yeah, that is it. Sorry, guys. So, because I thought there was more on the other sheet. I guess what I'm going to do now is ask you guys the question of the week for next week. I want to know, since we have the convention footage, what is your favorite convention, movie, kind of exploitation convention, whatever, horror, and your favorite memory from said convention. Let's do that. And then I guess we're going to hop into the update. Okay, this is the Cinema Wasteland update, so it's pretty big. We'll start with the poster, just a little mini poster thing from Her Name is Krista. Pretty cool. That's the only way I can get the whole damn thing in the shot. So yeah, and then I'll start with some shirts. I also got the shirt I was wearing, this cool Hellraiser shirt, but I got some other stuff. Got this one for free with buying some stuff. It's a High on the Hog shirt, if I can get it open for you guys. Yeah. R.I.P. Sid Haig, legend, you know. Got this for buying a couple things. I know Ellie Church and Sid Haig are in this movie, so I'm going to check it out when I can. Yep, cool. And then we got a couple cheap toe tag shirts. They had a sale. Pretty good sale. It was like $5 a shirt. Got a Jack Pierce shirt, geez. Special effects artist, you know. Did like the original Wolfman. Classic artist, so yeah. Special effects artist. And then we got another toe tag shirt. I actually think I had this one. No, I didn't, but yeah, we have an August Underground Trilogy shirt. So, cool. Can't pass on the price on those. And then we're going to hop. I hit the damn speaker, so it probably got real loud right there, guys. And then we got some Blu-rays. We'll start with them. We got The Day Time Ended. I've never seen this. This is by the same guy who did Kingdom of the Spiders, so Full Moon Blu-ray. Why not? Looks fun. Yeah. Bud Cardos. Then we got Head of the Family. This movie is nonsense. It's so stupid, but I enjoy it in a kind of a weird way. Head is better in high definition. Okay, yeah. Silly movie. Fun. And then we have Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity. Never seen this. Big movie, big production, big girls. Yeah, I don't know if this is any good. It had monsters in it. Looked fun. Then we have the only one that's not from Wasteland in this stack, The Descent. It was pretty cheap, original director's cut. Wanted to check it out after listening to Exploding Heads cover it. I haven't seen this movie since it came out, so yeah, looking forward. Oh, a classic if I remember correct. Then we have one from Synapse, The Undertaker, or just Undertaker. Japanese zombie movie, black and white. Looked really cool. I love zombie films, you guys know that, so especially unique, different ones. So yeah, why not? Gonna check this out ASAP. Then we have the Paganini, I always gonna say that wrong, or Paganini Horror, which is from Severn. This is released early. It's got Daria Nicolodi and Donald Pleasance in it. I'm looking forward to checking this out ASAP. This is a movie that's always been on my radar, but I never got a chance to see it. So yeah, cool. And then we have Parasite 3D. Charles Band movie. Debbie Moore's in here. Yeah, haven't seen this in years, since the DVD. It's got a lot of stuff on here. Why not, right? I think it even has it in 3D. Love that. Then we got Nightmare Beach, the Umberto Lenzi movie with John Saxton. Michael Parks is in here as well. I can't remember. There's somebody else in here too. This movie's fun if I remember. It's been a while. I remember really liking this one. So yeah. Sleazy. I remember being sleazy and fun. And then we got Baby Blood. Really cool movie. French horror movie. Haven't seen this in years. I always liked this one. Parasitic relationship. This woman has this like parasite in her belly and it's having her kill. Cool film. Weird. And then we got Tuff Turf. This looked cool to me. Sounded cool. James Spader, Kim Richards, Robert Downey Jr. Kind of a gang movie. Definitely into gang movies. Never seen it. And Soon, The Darkness. Always wanted to see this one. British kind of thriller. I know it was remade. I never seen this one. Is it a British thriller? Looks like Robert Foose. Didn't he do the Fives movies or the second Fives movie? I can't remember. But I definitely want to check this one out for sure. Then we got Wanted, Dead or Alive with Rutger Hauer. This is one I have never seen as well. It was a cover that I always seen as a kid. I just never checked it out. Looks fun. Gene Simmons is the bad guy. So yeah, can't pass that up, right? Zoltan, Hound of Dracula. This is Michael Pataki in it. Directed by Albert Band. I love his ghoulies too. So this is one I had on DVD but never had a chance to watch. So yeah, can't wait to check this out. Looks cool. Those are all Kinos. And then we have The Devil's Kiss. This looks interesting. I like the redemption titles, so why not grab this one? Looks cool. Not heard much about it. Then we have from Arrow. This was here. This is damn cool. This is the Old Boy box set. Sympathy for Miss Vengeance, Lady Vengeance, and Old Boy. Yeah. All three movies on here. Looks like a collector's edition. Looks slick, man. Can't wait to watch this. Then we have Closing Time. This is Jim Roberts' new movie. Yeah, on Blu-ray. Excited to check it out. Dug a lot of his stuff. Gory, low budget, fun. Yeah. Then we got From Beyond the Grave. Amicus Anthology. I saw half of this as a kid and never finished it. Not because it was bad, just because, you're a weird kid. It's got Donald Pleasance and frickin' David Warner in it. So, yeah, I'm totally into this. Peter Cushing's in it. Yeah, I got to watch this ASAP. Perfect Halloween viewing or October viewing. Then we got Foes. Oh, I bumped the camera. Sorry. A Big Chin. Foes. This is a Agfa Films. I've heard not much about it, but it sounds interesting to me, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, it's Garage House Pictures. My bad. I could have swore this was Agfa. I'm glad it's Garage House Pictures. I actually enjoy what they do as well. So yeah, cool stuff. Then we have Torment from Honored Films. I wasn't sure about this one, but I saw it there, so I grabbed it. I don't know how. It looks pretty crazy. I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy it, but I was willing to give it a swing. Yeah. And then we have Emmanuel in America, if I can pick it up. Yeah. The Emmanuel movies. I heard this is one of the most sleazy ones. This is a Mondo Macabro, one of the special editions ones. I love Mondo Macabro. I think that they're a totally underrated company, to be honest. So, yeah. Good stuff. Then we have Cyborg, the collector's edition. Can't pass up Jean-Claude Van Damme for $15. This is the third Blu-ray I have of this movie, and I haven't watched this movie since I was a kid. I used to love it as a kid. I'm worried I won't enjoy it as much, but yeah, Cyborg. Fear No Evil. I haven't watched this since I was a kid either, and I didn't care for it that much back then, but I figured that I'd give it another chance. So yeah, I really wanted to recheck it out. I don't know why, so Fear No Evil. Then we have 10 to Midnight, the special edition. Love this movie. Charles Bronson. Can't go wrong. Love it, love it, love it. Good stuff, and I'm looking forward to diving into those special features. Then we have Carcinoma. This is a Dora movie. I wanted to grab this one too, but I was leery on it. Finally grabbed it with the slipcover. I'm sure this is intense. His movies are intense. I've only seen Voyage to Agathis, and that is insane. And then we have Heroes Shed No Tears. This is a John Woo war movie. I gotta see. When I saw it, I was like, I gotta have that. I wanted to see this one for a while since the Blu-ray, and I just never got a chance to buy it or check it out or anything like that. So yeah, this is who does this? Film Movement. Yeah, so it looks cool. Then we have The Devil Within Her. Joan Collins, Donald Pleasance, Carolyn Monroe. So can't go wrong with that. This is a Scorpion. Never seen this movie. Had the DVD. Wanted to check it out. Love Donald Pleasance. I think it's a Rosemary's Baby type deal, but yeah. And then we have a couple more Blu-rays. Await Further Instructions from Dark Sky. Wanted to check this one out. Heard the plot sounded really cool, and I like a lot of Dark Sky stuff, so yeah. And then we have Skeletons in the Closet. Tony Walsh, the director, was there. And, he was selling these. Has Ellie Church in it. I saw this. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but I like my hard copies, so I wanted to check it out. Yeah. Then we have The Rake, which is another movie by Tony Walsh. I have not seen this. I actually kind of liked the little trailer he had on there. It had cool practical effects on it. It's a slipcover. That looks cool. I like the slipcover cover way better. So yeah, I don't know how this is. I was hoping that he'd have a Blu-ray, but I guess Sony only put this out. So yeah, that's The Rake. Then we have another DVD, Do It Yourself. No Enter, No Escape. This is an artsploitation film. It's Greek. I never heard anything about it. Don't know much about it. Looks interesting though. Yeah. And then we have The Bleak by James Bell. This looks crazy. His movies are always cool. SOV style stuff. Really weird, really bloody, really gory. Yeah, James is cool, dude. Yeah. And then last, we just have the little burned on the demand disc, the back again. So yeah, I had a great time at Wasteland. It was a blast. Like I said, I got some interviews done, and this should be, the footage and the interviews with Fred Vogel coming up whenever. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. All right, hey guys, what's up? I'm Mrparka. We're here to talk about the Joker a little bit and bullshit with Fred Vogel about some other movies that aren't horror movies for once. So, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Keith Voigt Jr., directed Army and Lust. I've been on Dave's channel a lot.
I'm Fred Vogel. I directed August Underground, and my newest film, The Final Interview, is playing film festivals right now.
All right. So, The Joker, Todd Phillips movie. Yeah, I guess this one's got a lot of buzz, unfortunately, and it's that bad kind of buzz where it's like polarizing, where like no matter what you say about the movie, you're going to think you're just saying it because you're on one side of the political spectrum or some shit.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the movie.
Cool. I was kind of excited when I heard Todd Phillips was directing the Joker movie because, a lot of people don't realize like Todd got his start doing like documentaries. Yeah. Hated and
G.G. Allen doc.
G.G. Allen doc and Frat House, which was one of the documentaries that he did that kind of got never seen before.
Have
you ever seen it?
I've never heard Frat House.
What's that one about?
Frat House, Todd Phillips kind of like went underground into like the fraternity scene and like did a documentary about the hazing that goes on in fraternities.
Oh shit!
And I think it was for HBO. I think it was for HBO. And what happened was the fraternity, they were like, oh cool, you can come do it, and then they were like, so it never saw the light of day. But I've seen it.
There's like bootlegs out there.
Well, no, I mean, also like when did that happen where a hazing and shit became illegal? Like Hell Week and shit became illegal at a certain point.
I mean, it's pretty intense, but Todd was he was getting hazed, like he was in there, so it's pretty cool. I mean, you can find it if you really look for it. You know, but I had a chance to see it.
I bet Cinemageddon has it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, that's kind of funny because he went old school later on.
Yeah.
In the frat house movie with more comedic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, but comedy was kind of where he really shined and definitely made his money. So when he got the Joker, I was just like, wow, Todd Phillips is a really interesting choice.
Yeah.
But what I thought was really cool about this choice of using Todd Phillips was, he's a New York guy.
Yeah.
And, from the look of the Joker, it is New York. It is like 70s New York.
He's definitely got that nostalgia for 42nd Street, kind of grimy New York City from the 70s. And that's exactly what this movie is. And the first thing about the movie is, I think there's two major positives for me. Joaquin Phoenix's performance and the look of it. It's a beautiful looking fucking movie, no matter what you say. So I think anybody says this movie's bad just on the story or anything, you're wrong, because even the look is perfect. No,
and I think the look of the movie is it really helps the storytelling too. Having it set in that time, because it's definitely not now.
Oh no!
If you look at the production vehicles, like the taxi cabs and things like that, it's definitely like late 70s, either early 80s. So
and it was just a different time back then, and it just makes it feel grimier,
feel more authentic.
Yeah,
because it's a story from the 70s. It's straight Taxi Driver, Death Wish, all those kind of 70s vigilante or gritty kind of stuff, and
very Taxi Driver. Even there was a music cue in there. I don't know if you might have realized it or not, but it was like the same like almost ending music from Taxi Driver, and it was when he was sitting there and just like...
Well, that was the shout-out to Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Not spoiling too much.
Oh, for sure.
Did you notice the... I'm just going to say Pogos. Did you notice that?
Yes.
The shout-out to Gacy with the clown. I was like, oh, shit! That's pretty unique.
Yeah. No, I really liked it. I thought the movie was definitely a solid film, and I think, one of Todd's best films. Like his comedy stuff's great. And, I'm not going to take anything away, because he definitely broke ground and created that whole new style of comedy with like the Hangovers and things like that. But he took the material, the DC material, and really made it his own. And I think it was a breath of fresh air for us.
Yeah. People
who love the story of Batman, love the story of the Joker, even though it was a different twist on the Joker, But it's I thought it was refreshing for me because I love dirty, sleazy movies.
Me too. I'm not a fan of Batman or comic book movies really, but I thought it was cool. It actually had more Batman stuff in it than I thought that it was going to have.
Now, do you guys think it would have been better if it wasn't involving the Joker at all? Or I know it wouldn't have got any recognition of the budget. It's kind of funny how you have to kind of like tie in a superhero to get your movie made into like, I want to make a 70s like kind of almost vigilante movie, gritty movie, but I have to tie it to something else, some other like, big title or something just to get it made. And do you think it would have been a better film overall if it didn't involve the Joker? It wouldn't have had the buzz, but...
No, it needed to be the Joker. Yeah. Because it had especially the third act of the movie. Like, that third act of the movie... Like, so how I felt when I saw the movie was, the first act of the movie, I'm like, wow, Joaquin is doing an amazing job performance-wise. This is really great, but it's a little slow.
Yeah.
And then they started to pepper in a little bit of, like, the Batman mythology. And that's when I started getting a little bit excited. Thomas Wayne, Gotham, things like that. By the time we get to the third act of the movie, I mean, Joaquin is full-blown. Yeah. It is... my jaw was on the floor in a great way.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything was, like, so over the top to where it just wasn't believable.
Yeah.
It was totally believable, and it was total exploitation.
Oh, yeah, it hits that point. But, also, like, I never saw King of Comedy, but I see the comparisons with having De Niro in there as that kind of character, like the Jerry Lewis character, and having that admiration towards that character, and being like, it was like a lot like those movies. It was weird. It even had the Scorsese, like, needle drops.
Well, he needed De Niro. Yeah. Like, it's a New York movie.
Yeah.
De Niro is a New York actor. Like, like, when you think of Robert De Niro, when I think of Robert De Niro, I think of a New York actor. I think of Mean Streets, I think of Taxi Driver. Yeah. He does the Tribeca Film Festival. I mean, like, De Niro is New York. Yeah. And Gotham was New York, circa 1979.
It was William Lustig's New York. Yeah. But, I mean, it was enjoyable. There's a couple moments that I was wondering, like the train scene. I think they could have built... And the funny thing is, like, it needs to be cut at the same time, but I felt that could have gone a little slower with those Wall Street guys and showed them a little bit more to flesh out, kind of like the movie The Incident. Have you ever seen that on the train? I was like, I feel like that would have been the right way to handle those guys. And I shouldn't be spoiling too much, but I think the 1 weak actor in the movie was the main kind of like antagonist on that subway who was like sung the song. I was like, It just seems very awkward, and it was just kind of forced in there. It needed an actor who could ease that in better.
Those guys, it could have been done a different way.
Yeah.
Just like throwing more food at her, or
Yeah.
just more, more picking.
Yeah.
At her.
More building.
Build that up a little bit, and because we already know, the Joaquin's character is off.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you're waiting for something to happen. And we already know that he can get his ass kicked too, because he
got kids
kick his ass.
And that's weird too. Like, I know people are trying to make this like a political thing, like, oh, this is for incels, and I don't really think he's an incel. And then I also, it's an eat the rich story. It's not a typical, you know what I mean? It can be bended any way you want, but I don't see it bend one way or the other. I don't see a political agenda really.
No, well, we live in a society right now where you want to try to find that.
Yeah.
And point a finger at that. Yeah. Again, this movie is exploitation.
Yeah.
I really hope Todd felt that way when he was making it, and I really hope that, when Todd was making this movie and he was talking to his camera crew and his, the people, like, I want to make an exploitation movie.
But the funny thing is about old exploitation movies, sometimes they pack a stronger psychological punch than the exploitation movies now. I mean, like, things like Toys Are Not for Children, or even The Witch Who Came from the Sea. Like, those are exploitation movies, but or Cannibal Holocaust. Those are psychologically damaging movies that actually dive into and kind of unveil people's psychology and stuff. And you're like, this is more deep than any Hollywood drama could ever do.
Well, it definitely damages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Like, I mean, like, the Joker character was definitely damaged, and it's like he has no time to come up for air, because every time he tries to, there's something there pushing him back down. When he sort of, I don't want to give away spoilers and stuff like that, but like, just when he thinks that something good's going to happen, there's somebody there to be, there to push him right back down and keep, the more you push somebody down, the more they're going to get ready to burst, and when they come up for that air, and just explode, and that's when those moments come, and I think they were done really, really well.
Indeed.
I don't think anyone could watch that movie and idolize that character.
No.
Like, there's no... he's not cool, you know what I mean? He's just, like... He's just fucked up.
And that's the one problem is, like... Yeah, I have trouble sometimes with characters. Like, you start to blame the movie for the fan base. People obsessed over a character, like the idolized scumbags. And it's the same thing, like, everybody's interested in serial killers, but when you start to idolize them, that's when it becomes a problem. Like, we're all interested in the cases and everything like that. When you start to idolize them, that's when it becomes a problem. And it's just like, it's so hard to sometimes separate that, especially when people are constantly trying to make you feel guilty for enjoying something, a movie.
I make my movies about not idolizing those kind of people.
Yeah, exactly.
August Underground, you're not supposed to idolize, these killers.
Yeah.
My new movie, The Final Interview.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know about you guys. You guys both seen the movie.
Yeah.
You're both in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. But, there was some dialogue with De Niro when they're on the set, when the Joker is on the De Niro set. There's some of that dialogue really reminded me of The Final Interview.
The back and forth.
And I was,
it does,
because the character in The Final Interview is kind of a broken person, just like the Joker character.
And it's like the Mark Maron character's like, let's cut this, where in The Final Interview they're like, let's stop, and Granger's like, no,
media exploitation. That one scene they show all the cameras and everything exploding. But there's also, do you think it's dangerous, like, making somebody like the Joker sympathetic? I mean, it shouldn't be dangerous, but people are stupid.
I don't really think he is sympathetic.
He's sympathetic to us in the very beginning. They're trying to make him at least a little bit sympathetic. You feel bad for him at first. If he wasn't the Joker and he was, Travis, you'd feel a little bit bad for him.
That's why they do those things, with, showing his weight law, not looking healthy, the constant cigarette smoking, all that stuff is, now in the society that we live in 2019, all that stuff's bad.
Yeah.
Cigarettes are bad. Not taking care of your body is bad. So, like, you're seeing these things. I know, like, me personally, like, when I saw Joaquin as thin as he was, I'm just like, ooh, I don't even want to look at this guy because it's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the motherfucking point. And that's the point where Joaquin is such a brilliant actor, and that's why he knew that he needed to go there. He needed to lose that weight because he knew that that's just another layer of his character that's going to make people feel for him.
And he came from the last big movie I saw him in was We Were Never Really Here, where he was a little bit chubby. He has like he gained some weight for that movie. Yeah. I do think that there's some influences from that movie carried over his character in this with the mom.
Yeah,
that situation.
You seen that movie?
Bits and pieces. I haven't had a chance to see it fully.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I have it, on my watch list.
Yeah. It's probably even bleaker than this. I would say.
I would say it's more serious. I just was kind of amazed that people were like, "It's so bleak," and it is bleak for a big movie. But I don't know. I'm so, I guess, what is it? Desensitized to bleakness. Like it's just like when you watch it's a lot like Death Wish and Taxi Driver, and I think people would bring up the same. If those movies were made today, people would bring up the same issues if they were made that way, and stuff like that. And I noticed a lot of. It seemed almost like they were going that Taxi Driver racial tension in the very beginning. When I was like, oh, I can see this kind of upsetting some people, but it kind of gets away from that. And I know Death Wish had that too when people came out and were like, well, it's Charles Bronson shooting a bunch of black guys, and then the sequels they're like, we're not trying to do that, guys, so we're going to throw some other guys in here too.
Yeah. Let's talk about the love interest. That's very Taxi
strange.
Driver too.
Yeah,
where so he's obsessed with somebody and they have no idea that he pretty much exists.
And Thomas Wayne is also that kind of political figure who he also was obsessed with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's and that's the thing is like as filmmakers, you want to put those movies that you cherish. Taxi Driver is one of those movies that you study in film school.
One of the best.
And it's one of Marty's greatest films ever. And De Niro's too, so I thought, the love interest was, it wasn't so overdone to where it took away from his character, but it was just enough to give another sympathy point, for the Joker character.
I feel like they tried to make him sympathetic at the beginning, but by the end, like I could really just tell how self-centered and
egotistical.
And I didn't feel sympathetic for him at the end.
But at the same time, everybody's scum in that movie. Not really anybody is sympathetic. I mean, he's right, but also at the same time, he's no better.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, these people are shit. It's like, so am I, really.
So you being you, what did you think of the gore and the violence in it?
I love realistic violence, and the violence was very realistic. It wasn't so over the top where it just like blood spraying and things like that. It was brutal, and that's the way violence needs to be.
Some of the violence was really drawn out too.
Yep, and and again, I always hate when somebody kills somebody in a movie and they don't get their heart rate up, because when you're doing something that visceral and mean spirited, that's going to make your heart rate race, and when he's breathing, the breathing and stuff like that is super, super important. And again, it just goes to show how great, Joaquin is as an actor.
Yeah.
For doing that. And again, the third act of the movie, was just all the, everything, again, I don't want to give anything away. The whole world's going to see this movie, especially if you're a fan of movies and film, you're going to go see this movie. But, maybe we can discuss it a little later. Again, we can kind of do a part 2 of this or something.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm good on talking about it unless you guys got any more points. I would
How about the makeup? What do you guys think of the Joker makeup?
It was pretty unique, but I'm not like a Joker fanatic. So or like a Michael Myers fanatic. So when things change and people get really uptight about it, I'm like, oh. The only one that I thought looked like shit was the Jared Leto.
Yeah,
but I mean that's a product of its time. So
I liked it. I liked it. It was simple.
It was definitely simple, and it was a clown. It seemed like a fresh take on it too.
It seemed like the Dark Knight, Heath Ledger. His was purposely shitty looking, he just didn't care. This one seemed like that Joaquin's character wanted it to be good, but it wasn't really that good,
But it was okay.
Which I kind of
like. In this realistic kind of world, he's not going to go he's got to put that shit on all the time. Yeah. He's not going to be like, oh, it's perfect, He's like, got to get out there.
I didn't like how he started painting his tongue, to be honest. That's a little too on the nose, look how crazy this guy is. He's licking paint. I don't know.
I think it's a moment. How many times,
maybe he improv'd it.
So, when I was a little kid and I was learning makeup, special effects makeup, I would sit in the mirror and put stuff on my face. If I didn't have any, I was little, and if I had a loose tooth or something like that, I'd fucking loosen that sucker and get a little bit of blood in my mouth. Kind of twisted, but I would just sit there and just let blood and drool drip from my face, and take a wet paper, the toilet paper, and put it on my face and baby powder and let it dry so it would wrinkle me up, and just sit there, and I think that's really what it was. I think it's just just that moment of you becoming, he's not becoming What's his name? Alfred Fleck?
Arthur.
Arthur Fleck.
Arthur Fleck. He's becoming the Joker, and I just think it's just his moment of but his time, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and the needle drops at sometimes were really good, and then sometimes it almost hit that point where it became distracting to me, like because there were such big songs. Like
I love when rock and roll played.
I do too. I think they were the right. It was the right music too. It was like kind of like the right music for it.
Some of them were great, and some of them were I was like, that's just weird. Like some of the songs you hear so many times, it just is like background noise to you now. Like the songs are ruined by like hearing it on a sneakers commercial.
Yeah.
But it's not anybody's fault except my own, I guess. Yeah. So I would recommend it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Great job, Todd Phillips. Great job, Joaquin, and your whole team. I think you guys made a very important movie at an important time in history right now because we really need a movie like this, especially as a fan of these kind of movies.
And at the end of the day, don't censor things. Just don't. Don't censor.
Did you guys know Todd Phillips was supposed to direct Borat?
Was he?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
He like wrote it and like
Really?
was like the original, but he dropped out for some reason. I heard somewhere he dropped out because it was too offensive. But he's the G.G. Allen documentary guy.
That doesn't sound.
So
right.
I don't know, but yeah. So he's no stranger to controversy, basically.
No, not at all.
Can you please stop bothering my kid?
Sorry.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
And finally, in a world where everyone thinks they can do my job, check out this guy.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
It's so awful, isn't it?
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
Think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Send in the clowns.
So I also, while we got Fred here, let's ask him about some of his favorite non-horror influences. Because I noticed all your movies, even if they are straight-up horror movies like Red Sin Tower, they all have a true crime element. And I see your movies more as true crime than even like true crime influence, like crime stories, than horror movies sometimes. Like August Underground's a serial killer movie. Red Sin Tower has the boyfriend aspect, which all feels real. Mm-hmm. And all sorts, and then Salatursica, even it feels like real until Murder Collection, and of course The Final Interview.
Realism is definitely what I love. I love like pulling that world of real into that kind of narrative, because I think horror sticks the best when it has like a drama element to it.
Yep.
I kind of think making like a slasher movie is just too easy.
Yeah.
It's just formulaic, and it doesn't really test me. I feel like I can kind of like skip that class.
Yeah.
So every time when I try to do stuff, I mean, especially like with The Final Interview, like that whole thing is just me trying to like, show something completely different. You guys obviously you've seen the movie, you've been in the movie. There's nothing much really like it, and I think when people start to see it, maybe we could talk about it once it comes out on Blu-ray and more people have seen it. We could discuss it. But I'm just trying to reinvent everything that I love. Put my spin on it personally.
Well, yeah, Final Interview has a lot of dialogue, and it's good dialogue and good characters, which drives the whole movie.
Rebecca Swan,
and setups and things like that.
Yeah, the actors,
they do a great job.
They pull it off. So.
Yeah.
But as much as I love horror and I love slasher films and I love rape revenge films and exploitation films and monster movies, and Frankenstein is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But I love movies like Over the Edge, Jonathan Kaplan's 1979 classic.
Okay.
I love teen angst movies. I love movies like Bad Boys with Sean Penn.
Yeah, it's a great one. Clancy Brown.
Yep.
Yeah. Whose radio is this?
Yeah.
It's mine now.
And that's the thing that's when the violent hits in those movies. It's so important.
It's almost more impactful than a horror film.
Absolutely, because it's just so easy for a guy with a big machete or a chainsaw to kill somebody. But when you see Sean Penn putting those soda cans into that pillowcase, and he's like, "Yo, why don't you just hang out here?" And he just turns around and smacks him in the face, and you just see that dude's nose explode, and it's just like that's power.
How do you feel about Scum? If you like Bad Boys.
Well, I like Scum.
Yeah, that'd be very similar.
Scum's very, Scum's another one of those, great movies from that era. The Warriors.
Yeah.
But I also, but man, I love movies like fucking Robert Altman's Popeye. I love comedies like Blazing Saddles and Airplane, and Richard Pryor films like Bustin' Loose and The Toy. A lot of movies that I grew up watching that was just on HBO. So I kind of grew up in a town that had HBO before a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I was watching a lot of television, cable, when other people didn't have those movies. And when the VCR came out, my mom was just we got a VCR early, and I was just renting everything that I could rent. And I literally try to watch as much as I possibly could.
A friend of mine, I don't want to give his name just in case it would be offensive. He said that a lot of independent filmmakers they only watch horror movies. They never watch anything else. So when they make movies, they have no influence from anything else. So it's a rehash. So it's like, do you feel as a horror filmmaker or a crime filmmaker or whatever, like extreme, whatever you categorize those movies as, not in one category, but sorry.
That's my wife.
Tenebrae.
Yeah.
But as you categorize those movies as, you feel you need to watch other kinds of films to be a successful filmmaker in any genre.
I think to be a successful filmmaker, you need to watch film.
Also.
I'm a cinephile.
Yeah.
Watch movies.
I can, we can sit here and if you want to talk comedies all day long, we can talk comedies all day long. You want to talk dramas all day long, we get foreign films, you name it.
Yeah.
We can talk about it because I've seen, I try to watch as much as I can because I love movies. I love being immersed in film. I love actors' performances. I love great cinematography. I can sit here and watch a Terrence Malick film, and I can sit and watch a Rob Zombie movie. I can, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Completely
That's perfect.
different sides of the spectrum, because I love movies, and I might not like every movie, but I appreciate every movie because it's somebody really trying to put their art out there. And maybe if you can look at a painting and one person can be like, "Wow, do you see the meaning behind this painting? This painting is super." And then some people are like, "I don't see shit." That's how movies are too.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to get mad because I don't see the fucking sailboat.
Yeah.
Right, Kevin Smith. Right. I don't see the sailboat, but I know obviously the sailboat's in there. Maybe I need to watch it again. Sometimes that's why we all need to go back and give a movie a second shot.
Exactly.
And with my career, I get the. Especially like my most known, the August Underground movies, everybody's just like, oh, this movie has no plot, this movie has no structure, this movie's just gore for gore's sake. And, people don't realize, this movie was made to be this way, this movie was choreographed to be shot this way, this movie was very structured. It's not just me picking up a camera and just shooting shit.
It's all one-ers, a lot of it, so that shit's hard.
Yeah, and the thing is that it looks so real that you think that it's just me fucking around with the camera.
Exactly.
And that's and that's the point. So when people dog me and say "Oh, I don't get it," it's kind of a compliment.
It ain't hard making it look so easy, right?
No, it's whatever.
There's one thing on here that I was questioning, because you always used to act in your movies, obviously being the lead in the August Underground movies and Red Sin Tower, and I thought you were always really good at that. I thought you had a natural screen presence. I always wanted to see you in other stuff. So I'm wondering, who are your acting inspirations? Like, favorite actors? What kind of actors do you like?
Yeah, maybe when you were preparing for a role, was there a guy that you had in mind?
Yeah, I'm interested in some of your favorites.
Oh God, man, I love so many actors. I love Rutger Hauer's performance in The Hitcher.
Great one.
I mean, the diner scene where he's just sitting there with the bullet. You know what I mean? The bullet. It's powerful shit like that. You know, of course, I love. Of course, like De Niro, early De Niro stuff. You know, from even Francis Ford Coppola, The Godfather, Apocalypse Now. I love really great performances from all different kinds of people, and I really wish actors weren't real human beings, and you can just kind of like pluck them from this plastic bubble in certain eras and be like, you know what? I want Rutger Hauer from 1986. Can I put him in my movie now? You know, unfortunately, it's not like that, and there's so many great actors out there today, but I think the craft has changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I think the craft has changed a lot because now it's so easy when we shoot on video and there's 3 camera setups. You know, back in the day when you would have one camera and you're shooting on film, everything was super important.
You better get
You had to be fucking good.
Professional.
You know, and, when you get actors, a lot of actors today, don't remember their lines and they'll come in unprepared and they know that it's not costing any money because we're shooting on fucking video and they can phone it in. That's bullshit.
Exactly.
And I got to see, with the final interview, I got to see real acting. Granger Hines, who's been acting for 40 fucking years, who's done everything, from every television show we've all seen, from Knight Rider to Buster Scruggs, now with the Coen Brothers.
He's in goddamn Lincoln.
Yeah.
He's in Rocky 2.
So
Rocky 2 to Lincoln, that's fun.
Watching somebody perform like that, working with somebody who is on the toe tag level, like Damian Marusak, who brought his A game, and learned so much from an actor like Granger, watching those two guys work together and help each other was really amazing.
It's incredible, yeah.
Really amazing.
And Granger, thanked Damien. He couldn't believe how good Damien was, and they're just making each other better. Yeah. Did you get to meet Granger at all?
No. Yeah. I did meet Damien here though. Yeah, a couple times I think.
Yeah, Damien
was Wasteland.
Yeah, there's that one question. You notice how Sam Peckinpah's probably my second favorite director after George Romero. Wild Bunch is one of my all-time favorite movies. I have an obsession with the movie. I bring it up every time. But that movie, in a way, Peckinpah didn't want to glorify violence, but at the end they go out in this kind of Western legendary kind of glorification of violence, but in that there is this kind of pain in it. Now, how do you feel about you have, in a way, when you portray violence, there's almost a glorification of it for no matter what, in a strange way, because it's on film.
Yeah.
It's so complicated, and it's kind of strange.
Well, I know whenever violence happens in my movies, pain has to be there. In the Red Sin Tower, when Becky gets the axe in her back, reaching for it, I'd watch so many movies where somebody would get stabbed in the back and then they would just fall over.
Yeah.
No, that shit fucking hurts, and it's not going to kill you right away.
No.
And you're going to try to pull that fucking axe out of your back. Same in an August Underground film, the violence had to be really important and really real, or it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So again, the breathing aspect, and even if the actor in my film might have not have been a super strong actor, I know that I would have to put on my chops to make sure that if they weren't doing 100%, I was gonna fill in, to make it 100%.
This is not really a question, but it's just a comment that I always thought was really interesting in how serial killers are. In the third August Underground, when you have the fat guy on the ground and you're making fun of him, you killed him and fucked him up, but then you try to blame him for making the mess because serial killers are it's never their fault.
No.
That prostitute had to come and I'm cleaning up the streets, but your guy's look at the mess you made. You get mad at him for making a mess when you killed him.
Well, a lot of serial killers, they're narcissists.
They never take responsibility for it.
They're narcissists, and again, I just shoot a fucking movie with a fucking camera and not give a shit. No, it's everything that comes out of my mouth is important, and it's a plot. It's a little piece of the plot. It's a little bit to make you think. and study and watch these movies.
The characters grow. Your character
His
especially
character grows
grows
big time,
throughout the trilogy. It's like
and
there's arcs for everybody.
He literally climbs up a hill and then falls off the cliff.
Yeah, party's over by the third one.
I wanted to ask you, recent movies in the last 10 years, non-horror films that you like. Not old ones.
Oh, God.
I know we talked about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I like, Quentin Tarantino, his movies are like, my favorite concert shirt that I wear all the time. You know what I mean? It's just comfortable. I love it. I'll wear it until it, because he makes things comfortable. Like he puts so much stuff in that you kind of,
Yeah.
where it just feels comfortable, and it's you don't have to overthink things. You can just enjoy it and enjoy like his beautiful cinematography, enjoy his dialogue. His actors are always great because they know that they're in a Tarantino movie. They want to give you the best performance. I like the movie The Three Billboards. Was one of my.
I haven't seen that either.
It's please see it.
It's kind of funny, right?
No, it's not. It's pretty. I mean, it's Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell.
So a bunch of terrible actors.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. They're all like three of the best.
I think Frances McDormand won an Oscar for her
she's
performance, and I think Sam Rockwell did too. I really, really enjoyed that.
I wanted to see it, but the trailer looked like funny to me.
No,
maybe it's just a bad trailer.
I'm telling you, watch the movie. I think both you guys are really, really.
I know. I think I have it on digital, or I have the Blu-ray. I can't remember which. I know I have access to it. I bought it.
I really enjoyed the new Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah.
I love monkey movies. I love Skull Island. I love King Kong. But I was a really big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson's earlier stuff.
Red, White, and Blue. You like that one, didn't you?
I did like Red, White, and Blue.
Yeah, that's bleak.
That's now you talk about bleak.
Yeah, talk about a bleak movie.
That was very.
There's I try to watch as much as I can. Of course, there's so many movies coming out. You can't watch everything. The Greasy Strangler.
This isn't right.
Yeah.
I just want to do that to somebody.
I like movies to give me different feelings. That's why we watch a comedy or we watch a horror movie is to give me a different feeling. So it really all depends.
Television shows.
Shelby and I, my wife, we watch a lot of garbage TV. Which when I say that, it's like Bar Rescue.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And things like that. It's just
Don't
mindless.
have to think too much.
I don't have to think too much, and I can. It's like watching like John Taffer yell at somebody. It's the same show over and over again. But you know what? It's like I just want to fast forward to the end so I can see him fix up the new bar. Watch a lot of House Hunters International.
Houses you can't afford.
Yeah, exactly.
We only have a measly $3 million to spend.
Exactly.
You're like, fuck you.
It's like my husband's a janitor and I don't have a job, but we have $4 billion budget. So what do you think we could get?
Man, they're like, I don't like it.
I don't like it. It just has
doesn't
everything.
have a sunroof.
It doesn't have a bowling ball.
Netflix. I watch some stuff on Netflix. I like Big Mouth. I still watch The Walking Dead because I love Greg Nicotero and and even though it has its ups and downs and stuff like that, I still try to give it the best that it can be. But
have you seen The Night Comes for Us on Netflix?
No.
If you want to see the most badass action movie that's gory, some of the people from The Raid did it, and I was like, oh my god! Like the fight scenes are brutal. The knife goes in the guy's arm, goes all the way down. It's really
Shooting?
awesome. There's guns in it too. Yeah, it's really awesome.
I like
and
gun
it's brutal,
bombs.
and you're just like, oh, I cringed every time somebody. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. I think you'd dig it.
And I've been watching the new 90210.
Well, I don't even know that was
That's
a thing.
nostalgia. It's a hell of
It's
a
a little
drug,
bit.
right?
It's a little bit nostalgia, and I really think the way that the show is kind of like makes fun of itself in like this weird
Self-aware.
alternate universe that's kind of real. I kind of like the way that they went with it, so it's a fresh take on it.
There's a couple questions I always ask everybody, or try to, just for the hell of it. Argento or Fulci?
Fulci.
Everybody said Fulci. I'm Fulci too.
Fulci, yeah,
Fulci.
for sure.
Yeah, and serial killer that most interests you, one that you're always like, not like necessarily glorified, but you just want an interest in.
Definitely Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy, because he was just, he was handsome. He was a smooth talker, and I think that's what you need. Especially if you're that, most guys aren't built like me.
Yeah.
6'3", and that can grab like a Kemper.
Kemper 6'9",
Yeah.
too, like 300. IQ of
so
165.
so Ted, Ted had to be a little bit smarter than a lot of other people. But yeah, did you guys see the Ted Bundy movie with Zac Efron?
Yeah, I thought the performances were great. The needle drops again distracted me, and I thought it was tasteless.
Yeah.
I thought sympathizing any bit about Ted Bundy, like, that's the one thing I don't want to see any sympathy for towards Bundy. But that original script, you never knew it was Bundy until halfway through, which would mind fuck you completely because it would put you in the position of everyone else. Like, this guy's innocent, like everybody thought. And then you're like, no, this is Ted Bundy. But they couldn't do that because they wouldn't get the funding to get Zac Efron, and nobody would watch a movie just about a random killer.
And casting was great. I mean, Zac looked like him.
He did a wonderful job.
It
comes off tasteless.
No violence in it either.
Well, that's all right. We all know what happens.
Yeah, I don't need the violence.
You know what I mean? Like, especially, a lot of people who want to watch a serial killer movie.
I like the way it was, the dramatic elements of it and everything, and the relationship between him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever. But I wish there was just a really stronger, a big violent scene.
Well, we've seen that before 100 times.
Yeah, I mean, but the other Bundy movies are violent. They're just.
I don't think there's ever been a good Bundy movie. I heard The Deliberate Stranger is good, but that's a TV movie. I haven't watched that one. But I don't like the 2002 one.
You see that 2002?
For some reason, they just want to do Bundy tasteless. It just all comes tasteless to me. I thought all the Dahmer movies were good. From the one with Jeremy Renner, I thought was good. The one, the low budget, dirt cheap Secret Life, I thought was decent. And then the one, My Friend Dahmer, I thought all those were good. And I never thought they came across tasteless. I haven't seen that one.
I want to see that one.
They're all good. Did you see any of them?
I've seen them all.
Yeah, you like them?
They're okay.
Yeah.
My Friend Dahmer was okay.
Yeah.
But I look for a little bit more. I think we should be true to the victims.
I agree.
And that's a hard thing because you don't want to upset the families and stuff like that. I've had real murder happen in my family, and that shit sticks. So you gotta be, it's you're treading on thin ice, but you're also dealing with a piece of American history.
Yeah.
And to be honest to American history, sometimes you need to show shit the way that it really was. Again, I think there's never been a Gacy movie. The best one was with my buddy William Forsythe.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Made me uncomfortable completely when he calls and talks to the guy. You ever get your brother on the ground and try to suck him off? I said, Jesus Christ, it made me so sick.
Yeah, but there's never really movies that never really go there.
Yeah, that went there in the dialogue at least.
Yeah, well that's what with August Underground. That's where I really wanted to. I wanted to show where they go. Because I'm like Hollywood would never show this. And
it's one thing to read that Edmund Kemper fucked a bunch of heads, but to see it on screen and played realistically,
you guys see
I don't
Mindhunter?
think people would. I did see some of it. I don't think people would worship that guy if they actually had to see that.
You guys should probably definitely watch Mindhunter.
I did watch the first 4 or 5 episodes. The Edmund Kemper performance was top notch.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, and we shot the final interview in the prison.
Yeah, you definitely dig it, man.
Yeah,
both.
Again, it's just time is not on my side.
And TV, once a commitment, it's a big commitment. That's why I never get hooked. I watch 1 episode or 2 episodes of a show. I'm like, it's good, but I got it. I get it. I know that's shitty to say, but it's just the way it is. I'm a movie guy through and through.
Yeah.
Any other movies? Oh, favorite Western. I'm curious.
Ooh, favorite Western. Favorite Western. You know what? I'm going to go... this might sound kind of cheesy, but, I'm going to go with... It's like a tie between, Tombstone and Young Guns.
Those are 2 of my favorite movies ever made. I see a red sash, I kill the man wearing it. I love it.
Tombstone's really good.
Tombstone is... I'm a Billy the Kid guy. I went to Billy the Kid's grave in Fort Sumner, New Mexico. It's one of my highlights of my life, even though it's in the middle of nowhere. But, I love the story of Billy the Kid. And, which I saw the new Billy the Kid movie. Have you guys seen that one?
No,
with,
I haven't heard it.
Deja... what's his name? Well, Ethan Hawke's in it. He plays Pat Garrett. But still, Young Guns is just
I love
80s greatness.
Dude, when
So-
Charlie loses his mind, that's the most touching character.
Kitty, you bastard!
Maniac! Dude, that's the best right there. I love that.
Hey, dog, you see the size of that chicken?
Dude, when one of the best parts of that movie is after the first shootout and they're just sitting there in the dark, trying to go to sleep the next night, and it just gets a real quiet scene. And it's that kind of the adrenaline wears off. They're we're gonna fucking die, and it's just real sad. It's real emotional.
Those actors were the 80s. That was a very influential time on me as a young man. Seeing movies like Stand By Me, which was one of my favorite movies. Stand by Me was great. But like watching Kiefer Sutherland grow into an actor, watching Emilio Estevez grow, and like that whole group, it was like the Brat Pack making a western. Was just so good, but it took itself seriously. It never took itself as cheese. It was never cheese, and it stayed true to the the story of the.
Yeah.
Did you see Bone Tomahawk?
I did.
Like
I enjoyed Bone
Tomahawk.
Tomahawk.
Yeah, that's good. And that's the funny thing too is we're always worried about the glorification of serial killers, but the Old West, it's all about glorification of it's about the story, the legend. It's not even the true story. And so what print the legend, not the story, the man who shot Liberty Valance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what's so strange about it. Like Billy the Kid technically would probably be a mass murderer or even Dillinger, but we don't look at him the same.
Yeah, but a lot of it's made up history.
Yeah.
Like Billy the Kid, did he really kill 21 men by his 21st birthday?
You don't know, and it's like folklore too. So it's American history and folklore. You can get away with kind of almost glorifying that because it's more piece of history.
Yeah, a little different, when it comes to Dillinger, because that was definitely more documented. It was the 30s.
Yeah, but Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
But it's weird that there's a definite comparison between John Dillinger and Billy the Kid, who are people who are technically criminals but could be sympathetic that were turned into folk heroes.
Yeah, well, that's because we were starting to get media was getting faster. Newspapers were printed faster. More people were knowing about Dillinger, Al Capone, Mrparka and the boys.
Well, and the James Gang and stuff with the railroads. So the railroad's a bigger piece. That's kind of being like they've done way worse than the James Gangs ever did. You know. So that's an interesting piece of history and stuff.
No, and I love history. I love it's. I feel like a lot of those kind of movies are harder to make now because a lot of those, there's so much. Everything's been built up now. It's where do you shoot these kind of movies?
And you don't have your character actors. You don't have your Slim Pickens. You can't just grab guys 20 guys like that. Like get Royal Dano, Slim Pickens, Warren Oates, and Ben Johnson. We got our cast. Those guys are all dead.
Yep, great faces. And nobody acts like that anymore.
No, those guys are precious.
Yeah,
one of a kind.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that those movies. That's the beautiful thing about movies is that they're forever. And if you really look for them, or you're guys like us that have movie collections, they're in our collection because we want that physical copy. Anytime we want to watch The Magnificent Seven, it's going in. It's in our collection.
And it's special to bring that up to people too. Like not everybody nowadays would know who some of those people are. Yeah. And it's it's horrible. Like you can't being a cinephile. You ever gotten in trouble being a cinephile or looked at as a weirdo when you're just like and this and they're I have no clue what you're talking about.
No, I do that when I was. It would be Friday night and we go to Blockbuster and I'd be in there for an hour and my friends would be like, "Come on, Fred." I'm like, "No, I got to pick the perfect movie for tonight." I'm not watching a horror movie, and it's like, yes, we are.
This was made 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it's good though.
Yeah, I don't want to watch Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty. It's like we're watching it. Sorry.
Isn't Bonnie and Clyde switch out the case?
Yeah, it's
a struggle being a movie fan.
Yeah,
how hard that we got it. First world problems.
I just hope everybody who watches your show watches lots of movies.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep cinema alive. Thanks very much for doing this.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
If you like nasty horror movies, check out Toe Tag. And I'm really excited for you guys to see my new movie, The Final Interview. I believe it's my best work. Yeah. And it's very different from anything that I've ever done, and it's definitely my most polished and.
Well, that's the best thing.
Movie.
How and when can they see it?
Yeah.
Right now it's at film festivals. Or if you know a theater that wants to show cool independent movies, contact me via Facebook or whatever. I'm not that hard to get a hold of. And let's get a screening together because I want to show it to you. It's really great to see in the theater. It's really great to see.
And the best thing about your career is your movies always progressively get made more. They get better. Not like just a story or anything. They're more well made as you go on, and that's how a filmmaker should be. They're gonna get worse.
I try every time. I learn from every movie.
Yeah.
So I want each movie to be better, and I know where to put money.
Yeah.
I know that this movie needed great actors in it, so I know I needed to put the money towards the acting, and I didn't have to put all that money towards effects. I knew it needed to be shot beautifully, so I hired a really great DP. I wanted really great music in the movie. I hired a really great, musicians. So
music's the number one thing lacking in independent movies nowadays.
Sound is too. People don't take care of that sound, and that's really important because, our eyes and our ears are our biggest. When you're watching movies, so when you hear that dialogue not right or you hear music not right, it throws into your brain, this is not right. I don't like it.
This isn't right.
It's not right.
I appreciate it. It was great.
Hey,
thanks again.
thank you.
As always.
And you'll let them know whenever the Blu-ray's out.
I'll buy it.
Because you couldn't give it a proper. You felt a little weird because you know you're in it.
I'm in it. I was involved with it. I'm close. It's like you can't really do that. I did it once, and I was like, somebody was like said something, and I was like, they're right. This is stupid. Like I can't give this. I can talk about it though and tell you guys to watch it.
Yeah.
And I'd be honest, like. There's some movies I've done that are shitty, and nowadays, at this point in my life, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't say go see it. I wouldn't just talk about it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
If you like it, whatever, give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. I don't give a shit. But thanks for watching, guys.
Give Keith a thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down for Keith, thumbs up for Fred.
I'll never get that again.
But we're out of here.
You ready to face off with the devil tonight?
The devil?
So how's Tidman? Is he ready?
Ready to die, if that's what you mean.
He's a run-of-the-mill loony.
He painted a room with his father's blood.
This room gives me a bad vibe.
Open 4. Is he having second thoughts?
It's all that creep has talked about for days, how he's going to be on TV. Just be careful with him. No telling what he might try.
Don't be fooled, Warden. I can take care of myself.
Have you been drinking today?
No, not a drop. Pleased that you could make it.
No, I didn't have anything else going on. I just got this thing later tonight.
This is Oliver Ross, and welcome to a special edition of the Ross Perspective. Tonight is the night of Darius Tidman's execution by lethal injection for the grisly murder of 20 innocents.
You owe me. They wanted Guy Oakley, but I insisted.
Nobody's gonna switch the channel. I promise you fireworks. You describe your crimes as some sort of a beautiful journey.
If there wasn't something beautiful at the heart of it, I wouldn't have done any of it.
It's suffering.
Oliver, get your head in the game. Pull it together. Get into its head.
Darius, tell me about the night that you reached your limit and killed.
I got on top of him. I looked directly into his eyes. And he finally saw my true face. A demon.
You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yes.
You're evil.
What's going on?
Somebody's gonna die tonight. And I can't wait.
Alright guys, we're going to do the drawing for the Patreon stuff. See, I have James Schaefer's name out because he's only going to get entered for October because he donated then. So we have 4. Let me get these. I got to move some stuff. Sorry. Unprofessional. Alright, we have 4 and I'll start right off the top. Okay, the first one is going to be for, I'm just going to draw the 3 out and then throw his name back in for October. We're going to start the first prize. What would it be for July, August? It would probably be for June. This is That's Sexploitation DVD by Henenlotter. So who's going to win that? I know you all should be rethrown in the bag, but I'm going to keep you guys out just for somebody else a chance to win. Okay, who do we have? We have Jim Simon won That's Sexploitation. And then for the other prize, we have The Dead Next Door. This is the special edition, 2-disc here. So yeah, love this movie. Cool edition. Bunch of stuff on here, a bunch of different versions. J.R. Bookwalter Classic. Who's going to win that one? Oh, we have Dustin Mills. Congrats, Dustin. I think that's the first time you won, so yeah. And then who's next? We got The Devil's Honey by Severin Films. Cool Lucio Fulci movie. Love this one. So who's going to win that one from Severin? Let's see. We got Skip Barber. Okay, so all these people, shoot me your address if you don't already have it. And I'm going to throw James Schaefer's name back in and mix that up a little bit. For the final prize, which is Killer Crocodile 1, brand new sealed, and 2, which I actually reviewed in this episode for you guys. So who's going to win the October prize? Who do we got? We got Keith Voigt Jr., who I just saw this weekend, which is funny because I could have handed it to you. But okay, so thank you very much, guys, for watching, and as always, you have a good one.
So what he does, and it's part of us, right? Part of us is also careful, part of us is true. All that stuff is wonderful.
Excuse me?
What are these sitting there? 7,000. Oh, okay, so I can see it
During the first 5 minutes of this movie, that's a guarantee.
You gonna buy anything or just rearranging Blu-ray? Yeah?
Yeah.
That slipcover is insane.
It is.
I did almost like rip it to pieces at first because like, does this slide out? Like
I did that, dude. I had this once, and some guy, yeah, he was just kind of like,
yeah, just pour it straight out.
like just put it upside down.
He's like, what?
Actually, you know what happened the other day, dude? A guy took a slipcover, and he just goes, it's a whorehound, I think, and he just goes, and he just starts trying to peel it back. What fucking planet are you from, man?
You ever see The Burbs? Yeah. He rips off the wallpaper just in the house, and he's like, he realizes what he did. That's exactly what that guy did. He just wasn't, he was like, I think this comes off.
Like a 9 on the tension scale there, Ruben.
Exactly. I think I got this set to like some weird daylight setting. Everything looks fucking orange. Oh well, who gives a shit?
Not you.
No, guess not. It's weird. Unless it's just really orange in here.
It is pretty orange in here.
I think it's just because nothing else is like this. I usually use like the daylight bulb, so I must have this set to. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Thanks, buddy.
And they want this one.
Pretty cool. It's funny.
Oh, let my puppy gets comments hilarious.
But like after like 45 minutes, you're like, I get it. But it's funny. I liked it.
No, it's not. It's not like that at all.
What?
After 45 minutes, you're done.
For me?
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah. I liked the whole movie, but I did like, I thought the beginning was better because I like the old guys.
The music is amazing. The old guys, yeah. It's like there's a character in that is like the two old guys in the Muppets. Yeah, there's like the Italian director.
Like that movie could almost like there's barely any nudity in it except the one scene.
That's why people are like, it's puppet porn. I'm like, not really.
No, there's only one nudity scene and it's like really playful and almost like sweet. You know what I mean? What is your actual favorite movie on this table?
Raw Force.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kung Fu Cannibal Zombies, monks eating virgins shot in the Philippines. It's a fucking guy.
Cameron Mitchell's in it.
It's a proto-Hitler trading women for jade. You know how great that would be for a job? Like, don't.
Put that on your resume.
I don't give a shit. Whatever. Oh, they do
Whatever that's being bad. Just like we put him in the oven.
You guys got anything new?
No, we don't have anything new.
Why
at
not?
all.
Are you guys still making movies? Are you guys retired? What's that?
Whatever. I don't care.
You guys retired?
From all retarded.
You guys coming out of retired?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna do that movie?
Yeah, I guess. Show it on your fucking shit. I don't care. Give us money.
All the riches that we've made off of rock bottom, we can finally retire.
Yeah. How much does this one sell? 6,000 copies?
Yeah. Wait till you see the sequel.
He's making it now, isn't he? Cool.
Yeah, I know. He should be in it.
Isn't he done?
Who knows?
I'll run on screen and get killed for 10
Don't
seconds.
post that.
It's posting it. Not cutting. So when am I cutting this? Scratch that last one. That's a great one.
Scratch that.
You telling
Are
me
we all a little ooter?
you got Black Queen 2020?
That's his shit.
Some asshole paid $30. Is that $300 or $30? Or $3?
3,000. My shades on. It's actually not that hot here. Are you sweating? Are you hot? I feel great.
You look great.
Outside.
That's great because you look great.
Thank you.
Not being sarcastic or anything. The burns?
Yeah. I'm gonna shave them for the movie though.
Keep them.
No.
Keep them and the Chick-fil-A scene.
I don't want to look like Brian Papandrea, but I love Chick-fil-A.
But you are, Brian.
Not looking.
Oh, is that how that works? That's weird.
Oh, you always play yourself?
No.
Relative? Yes. Oh my God!
I was hoping you'd wear
We're so related!
Yeah, I mean, if you consider having brain damage being related.
And you're so elated to see this.
This is going straight to the top. So when you guys are dead in 2 years, we'll remember this, right, Brian?
We're relatives.
Looks like my hand. Yeah, looks like my hand.
You're relatively bothersome.
He doesn't get it because he doesn't watch It's Always Sunny.
You don't watch what?
It's Always Sunny.
I haven't watched the last few seasons. But I like what I saw. I watched the first first whatever seasons 4 or 5 times. I love it.
13 is amazing. It really is.
Very good show.
This one is, it's starting off really slow.
I didn't finish. I started to watch the second round.
Apparently,
Oh, sorry.
She's been doing it about 3 years, so.
Sweet.
Okay. All right, here's the story.
Tell the story.
Every time we go in this gas station, the guy at the register, the clerk, always says some real weird shit to us. And one time he asked me if we were vampires under our breath. He called us vampires.
Yeah. 2 times.
2 times. So now we're going to go in there with vampire fangs, see? State-of-the-art special effect vampire fangs and blood. Why aren't you putting the blood on?
And we're going to buy a Pepsi.
Are you already fucking this up?
No, he goes in after. So you're going to be in there first.
Well, I'm going in with the camera first?
Yeah, you know.
Well, just walk around with the camera.
Just gorilla style.
No, you're going in first.
Yeah, but you're going to...
What, so I'm just going to act like cool dude or something and be like, here's some Pepsi?
It doesn't matter. You're my vampire entourage.
Vampire entourage. But it's daylight. Don't you want to stay in character?
See, that's the thing. He's going to be so fucked up over that. Like, I knew they were vampires, but... How am I putting blood?
You guys aren't related, are you?
How do I...
Listen,
I didn't think
they
so.
are not related.
I said no.
Don't let them fool you. They're not related.
I didn't think so.
We are.
All right, put that shit on your...
How do we do this?
Here. You put it on.
I don't know how to open it.
It's got a little twist thing. I'm not opening it because I don't want all that shitty blood on me.
Yeah, see, we don't know how to do it.
You guys could probably do it with 1 pack.
Take it back. They're related. Here, I'll do it.
How much did that blood cost? You had to buy.
These were 25 cents at the dollar store.
That is pathetic. That looks like jelly. I'm pretty sure that. It's sweet. It looks like you ate a jelly donut.
They're like, it's over a year.
These effects aren't very convincing, are they?
Don't worry. I can't even see what it is. No, it looks great. Keith.
It looks like shit.
All right. You're killing it.
You're killing it. Bravo.
Whatever you do, don't stop filming.
No. I'm not going in first. You're going in first. I'm going to follow you.
Are we ready?
Yeah, so I'm just going to follow you.
Uh-huh.
He's in there, right?
So Nate, wait until after we...
Yeah, after you leave and I'm gonna move your chair too.
What, am I just going to stay in there when they're in there? Huh?
Yeah. When Nate's in there, yeah.
Are we sure he's here?
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to get bitched at. I know it. I'm going to get bitched at.
There you go.
Oh, that was nice. One cold brew. Black.
Are you going to get a Pepsi?
No, I changed my mind. Hello. I was going to purchase a cold brew.
Oh, shit. Man, I'm not gonna get eaten up, am I? Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Nothing.
How much do I owe you, sir?
$3.77.
One. Ooh. Three. Four. For you. Sure.
You're not gonna like fight me or anything, are you? Since I returned this change.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
Thank you, my good man. Have a pleasant evening.
I'll try.
Do I got to go in with Nate now, too?
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. You kept...
Get in there.
You're good.
Quick, go.
Should I buy something?
No, just run in there and ask for bandages.
Don't do it.
Do it.
Go.
Do it.
I got to go again twice. I look worse.
I didn't buy Pepsi.
Oh, okay. Well, what did I
Sorry,
say?
twisted it up.
God, you're going to fuck this up, Nate.
Just ask him for bandages.
Dude, he looked freaked out.
Bandages.
Did he really?
But he thought it was funny. He's real weird.
Oh, okay.
Gotta ask for bandages.
I wash iPads. I got those gloves that everyone needs but no one uses.
Oh, perfect.
Alright, hang on.
It's so weird.
You don't want this pad. They come in packs of 2. F it, just use 2. There's 2.
Oh, thank you.
You're ready, man.
Oh, great.
Anthony's always ready.
It's a crazy wound. It's a crazy
I'm not
wound.
condoning the shit you're doing.
No, you're condoning this. You got bandages. No, we don't have bandages. My bad.
Oh, thank you so much.
Down the aisles we might.
What I would do is
Find your bandages.
keep pressure on the wound. Oh no, it's bleeding out, dude. You got like 5 minutes.
Okay.
You got 5 minutes, man.
Okay. I'm
I'll take you to the hospital. I get out at like 11. If that helps at all.
He would be dead by
Hold
then,
off
Jesus.
till then. No, that's cool. We got I got nothing. I got nothing. Did you get some bandages?
He played along. He was in on it. He knew what he was doing.
coming.
He enjoyed it. I think he got a kick out of it.
He knew vampires exist.
He was a little weirded out by YouTube, but he thought it was funny when Nate walked in. Because Nate couldn't stop laughing.
Well, it looks like you didn't know how to eat a jelly donut. That's it.
Like,
I'm probably gonna have to take a shower because of this, dude.
Yeah, there's an out. Go take a shower now because we got to see that movie at 9.
Are you guys going?
Yeah, he's gonna take forever.
No, I don't take that long anymore. Were you there this morning when I took a shower?
I don't remember. I was working out. I was there when you took a shit, and I actually finished like 45 minutes of working out before he was done.
How's your workout?
I never said
Sorry.
my shits.
I mean, I've been eating like shit for today, but
Are you
hey.
drowning coffee while you're doing it?
I drink coffee, yeah.
While you do it? That's insane.
I always drink coffee and drink water while I'm working out.
That's insane. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
He did.
It was like $4.
One. No, it was $277.
No, it was $3.77.
It was $3.77.
No.
This is an expensive fucking cold press.
Hey, you fucked up. Should've got that Pepsi.
I didn't need all that unnecessary sugar.
Whatever. You guys got anything else to say? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Always sunny thing when I was in Philly.
Yeah, with
And I was like, I won't pay full price.
the haggling.
It's funny, one of my favorite lines from that episode. Charlie's like, this thing tastes weird.
He's eating it with a sticker, right?
Huh?
You already said that. He's eating it with a sticker on it.
Yeah, well, Mac like checks out. And he's like, oh man, he's like, this thing's not ripe. And he's like, he sold us a fucking bum pear or whatever. And then he goes through, he's like, hey bozo, he's like, you sold us a bum pear. And he's like, you picked it out. Oh, dude, it's like the greatest line delivery. I laughed in the Joker when, what did De Niro say, dude? That was funny the way he delivered that.
Which one?
He's like, it's good. Remember, he's talking about, he's like, I want you to call me Joker. He's like, it's good.
He didn't care.
It reminded me of Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny.
He looks just like Stallone in that movie. How Stallone, like they have the same head. Like I couldn't tell their heads apart now.
Yeah.
De Niro was looking a little heavy in that one, wasn't he?
You hear about Aubrey Plaza and that comedy movie that De Niro's in? She like pinched his nipples, and he was just like, no.
He was upset about it.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, nothing important. Why? What's up?
Important?
Huh?
Oh, nothing much. Just wanted to be like, hey, man.
Oh, hey, I've got to catch my friend. Yeah, I'll see you. Hey, what's up? What do you want? That guy was trying to stop me to talk.
How you doing?
Not that many people out here right now.
Yeah, I love Wasteland so much. I love it. Dude, I had a...
We find who you're looking for?
Not really.
Go back inside. We don't have many people out here this time. Go back in. Hey, is this your first Wasteland?
Yes, it is, Mr. Parka.
Do you like it?
I like it, except for it's kind of dead right now.
Yeah, it's been like getting slower every year.
The crowd's been a little thin, but I got to interview J.R. Bookwalter,
That's
which was
cool.
awesome.
I got to interview James L. Edwards and Fred Vogel.
All right, see, there
Just for
you
fun
go.
though. So.
Yeah, see, there you go. And he has a fancy camera. I'm feeling really intimidated.
This is
right
not
now.
fancy at all.
It is way fancier than my iPhone.
No, your iPhone shoots better. I used to shoot on an iPod, and then it broke for Wasteland. So I have I have 3 of these.
So there you go. That's Mr. Parka's secret right there.
These are actually pretty cheap cameras, but I have 3 of them, so I can do like 3 camera setups.
All right, there you go.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. It's only like 12:30, it's thin, but this is more my crowd. I'll say that.
You can hula
definitely
hoop.
more very grindhouse, independent horror, old school horror.
You have a podcast, right?
I do. I have a couple podcasts.
Okay.
Yes, I'm now a freelance podcaster. I feel like I've guested on everybody's show, but I do have In the Mic of Madness, which is just a horror podcast, and I also have SOBs Who Love SOB with Slade Shepherd, and we are going to add in Tony Masiello very soon.
Nice.
And yeah, we talk about shot on video shit.
Shot on Shittio?
Yes, Shittio.
You should definitely do an episode of movies that everybody thinks are SOB that aren't, like Truth
And
or
you know
Dare.
what? Actually, I was gonna say, so the very first movie that we did was it was a Super 8 movie. It was Michael Rasso's The Basement.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing he said. He's like, you know that's not really shot on video. We're like, yeah, whatever.
It was
you know?
edited on tape probably though, and then the elements were lost, so it'll always look like it's SOB, right?
Well, that was one that was found. They had the Silent 8. Well, I think they had recorded audio, but the audio was gone or whatever. But yeah, so but that was. Here's the fun fact I got to throw in with J.R. Bookwalter, like I just said. So we aren't really shot on video because
The first episode,
Dead Next Door, that camera was the camera that Michael Rasso used for The Basement, and he fucked up the audio, and that's why it was lost.
that was almost super SOB though. Dead Next Door. They almost did SOB, but then they changed to Super 8.
But yeah, it doesn't matter to us. The spirit's the same.
The Spirit. Well, was Dead Next Door was what, the biggest Super 8 movie at the time ever?
Yeah, and like if you don't look it up, if you don't know what it is, people like I mean the
if they're watching this,
very
they do.
iconic.
They
Yeah,
know
and
it.
like
They know it.
yeah, that is true. Oh, is this my beer?
Presentation beer.
Look at that! When you're a media darling, everybody,
What's up, man?
people just bring you beers.
It's a
They
lager
don't-
too.
They don't pay you anything. I make $0.00, but I get a beer.
Yeah, you don't make anything.
No, I don't.
I would share more if I had more than two.
Yeah, I remember a couple years back, this would be like shoulder to shoulder.
That's what everybody was saying. I'm just like I went out to Bad Smokers before, and I'm like,
What?
right? Oh, I went to Bad Smokers Corner. Like, see, this is like just like good Smokers Corner. Like you're just having a cigarette. Those are the ones out there who are like doing shots and stuff.
Yeah.
But like nobody out there.
That's okay.
Can I plug my band?
Yeah, sure.
A
Whatever.
Drift on River 6 metal. Listen to it.
I didn't hear what the word that guy said, but he was super nice and happy. He said he wanted to plug something, but I couldn't hear anything because I'm deaf.
No. Well, you may be deaf, but
He was soft spoken. Yeah. He was quiet.
he was quiet and he was drunk. I ran into one of those last night, and today I was like, "Hey, remember me?" And he's like looking at me like a deer in headlights, and I was just fucking with him because I even told him last night. He's going. I'm like, "What's your name?" I still don't even know what it is, and like I'm like shaking his hand, and he's like this. And he's like, "It's action."
I work in a factory, and everybody that starts who's young, they're like, I'll be like, dude, scream. Just scream. I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And we're all deaf because we've been working next to heavy machinery.
But like when I met him, I'm like, "Hey, it's Pigeon." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I told you." I'm like, "I'd remember you, but you would not remember me."
Which guy is it?
Tonight, which is really surprising. Man, he was drunk. Oh, it looks like more people are coming out to the.
I could just slap that guy in the ear. You see that?
I wonder if the thing that
Movie right now?
Nah, she did that Midwest shit. I can't think what it's called. Like there was another. She did a con, or she and some other people did a con.
Dave Parker, #1 YouTuber for exploitation horror reviews. Go check him out at Mrparka on YouTube. Best exploitation Blu-ray reviewer ever.
Thanks. But I bet they already are watching this, so if they I'm not going to put it on someone else's channel.
Yeah.
Thanks, though, man. I appreciate it. It's hot here, man.
It is. It is. It is. Take it easy, buddy.
Yeah, you too. You too. My hands are all full. There we go. Yeah. Hold on, I can't wait to see that prank with the
I know,
the
I
vampire.
want to see that.
Might as well get. Might as well get Captain Spaulding, right?
What?
You got something to say?
Well, I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time with Wasteland, and his costume hit as a tribute, of course, as in tribute of the late great Sid Haig. And I'm actually very happy with the way it came out.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Where's your John Wayne tattoo?
Don't have it.
Well, we're gonna have to go get one right now.
No.
I'll get the guy. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, good. We'll pick up the fried chicken while we're at it.
Oh yeah. See you, man.
If you want, I actually took the time to learn the word.
Yeah. Give me a little bit of it.
Well, back up. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are about to enter a world of darkness, a world where life and death meet us. On your right, you will see the infamous Albert Fish, masochist, sadist, child killer, and most importantly, cannibal. Mr. Fish, born in 1870, enjoyed spanking with nail-studded paddles, sticking needles deep into his groin. One of our most famous crazies, psycho Plainfield, Mr. Eddie Key. Cat killer, cannibal, Mr. Geen enjoyed playing with dead bodies of women, especially their sexual organs. Now, one of our local heroes, S. Quentin Quayle, a.k.a. Dr. Satan. Masochist, murderer, torturer, most importantly, master surgeon. Mr. Quayle was an intern at Willows County Mental Hospital, nicknamed Weeping Rivers for the never-ending cries of pain. Mr. Quayle believed he could create a race of superhumans from the mentally ill. Vigilante justice prevailed and took his ass out and hung him. That hanging tree, no more than a stone's throw away where y'all's asked to see the crime happen. The next day, his body was found to be missing. To this day, no trace of Dr. Satan has ever been discovered. Then who knows? Maybe he was next door to you. Tours on! Said it. Exit through the door.
Good job, man. Took some memorization there. Yeah.
It's called that scene. It's called that scene's on YouTube, and I watched it over and over and over and over and over again. But to get the memorization, the memorization, the eyes, the head movement. It's like it's not only just the speech itself. It's Sid's face.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch the scene, Sid's face. It's like get the mannerisms down. That was the other part.
Yeah, it's a great scene. It's one of the best. Yeah.
It's just Sugar Ridge Studios sells a Captain Spaulding official licensed costume, and it's the clown suit.
Yeah.
I didn't want the clown suit. I wanted to do the murder.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a cool one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Had the hot dog shirt too, right? Yeah.
Actually, the hot dog shirt and the clown pants came as a package.
Oh, okay, cool. Like I was wondering, like if you had to find a hot dog shirt out in the wild, that would not be an easy find.
Actually, it's not that hard.
Really? A lot of hot dog shirts?
No, I mean, it's like an official one.
Yeah.
It has the thing on the back, if I want to hear an asshole fart.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Oh, sure. Thank you, David. I was wanting to do that for
I could tell.
Thank you, David.
He gets the kick out of it. He puts a lot of effort into it. You know what I mean?
So are we. We're all gonna be friends.
I don't think there's anybody out here. There's Art.
Damn, that's not the group I'm looking for.
Why not?
What are you guys doing?
A little dick.
Oh.
A little.
Oh, here we go.
You decided that you wanted tacos and you fucking found people to make it happen. Hey, Dave.
What's up, man?
When I go on a mission, fucking Taco Bell, man. That's what the fuck is up, dude.
You're using a fork on Taco Bell? Dude. You're fancy. Aren't you a chef?
I am.
Yeah. Do you ever you feel embarrassed to eat fast food, or it's delicious?
Hey, man, we all eat it.
Gotta eat.
It's delicious, dude. You gotta eat.
You gotta eat.
And yeah, fast food at this time is as embarrassing as it is.
It's delicious.
It's goddamn delicious.
I scarfed down 24 wings, so I can't talk.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are actually here.
Where'd you get them at the hotel?
No. There's a place called Johnny's Pub and Grill.
Uh-huh.
I heard it was good. The wings were okay.
Okay.
I mean, not the best, but they were solid. They're good enough not to complain about them.
One of the places I shop at is actually down the road.
Yeah.
A couple miles called Canteen Bar and Bottle Shop.
They good?
Yep.
They got good wings?
We have something called pork wings.
Yeah. It's a pork one.
It's a little pork shank. Shaped like a wing. It's fried like a wing. You eat it like a wing. But it's a little baby pork shank. It's the fucking greatest thing.
It's good. Yeah. Every restaurant I go, I get like the three same thing. I always get chicken wings if they got them.
Yep.
I don't know why. I'm just like
I am a chicken wing connoisseur.
Yeah.
I love chicken wings.
Best chicken wings then.
Best chicken wings.
Beans and cheese. Yeah. Like the fucking.
My favorite chicken wings right now are at Crust in Tremont.
Where's that at?
In Tremont in Cleveland.
Okay. So what's it called, the place?
Crust. It's a pizza place.
Okay.
They're my favorite wings. Them or Southside. It's
Crust?
kind of a tie between the two.
Okay. Because I'm not too far from that. I'm in Toledo, so.
Oh, right on.
You drive through. I've drove farther for stupider.
Yeah, I'm local, man, so I drive home every night.
Yeah.
Yes, I had that shit. Isn't it so good? It's good. Johnny J's. I don't know.
What? No, Johnny. What was it called?
Johnny
J's.
It was called Johnny Cheese Bar and Grill because I knocked on the shower. I was like, "You want to go to Johnny G's?" And you're like, "Donnie's Pub Bill or some shit."
Public Grill.
Public Grill.
Yeah, I thought he said Donnie's Public Grill.
Who the fuck's Donnie? No, hey, Donnie, dude. It's definitely Donnie. He's from Bully. I'm gonna film you guys eating. This is like the most exciting thing that happened. This is live Taco Bell review.
Dude, we got a shitload of tacos over here.
Get tacos.
They have some after my tostadas.
Put a little Diablo sauce on them. Yeah, dude.
You know what's really strange is I had a McDonald's toy of Rasputin.
Was that from
Anastasia? Yeah, it was like he was like a little guy and like his head and arms fell off and like connected by string.
Rasputin action figures?
Yeah, it's like that. I don't know. That's just so weird. Like imagine having like a Winston Churchill getting it in your Happy Meal and it just sits on the top of like.
Or like
Big
modern,
Ben shaking
modern
its
ones, like we got Dick Cheney action
Yeah,
figure
exactly.
here. Comes with shotgun
Right.
and a hunter's vest.
and
It's
one
like,
wound pack.
you know what I mean? Like, what if they just did modern day politicians?
Right.
It's like, or like people that were there, like, hey guys, we got Gorbachev. Who wants Gorbachev?
like the stain disappears when it gets warm or something like that.
Like his mole. We got Ronald Reagan to fight Gorbachev too. And Gorbachev has the sickle. Like that'd be awesome. But there was like action figures that were like that. Like I mean, like cowboys and Indians are kind of different in the term. Like they used to sell this like kind of thing. They had like Colonel Mustard or
really.
I had them.
Those make sense.
Buffalo Bill and stuff like that. What?
I'm going to go off a tangent.
Oh, are you going to tell them about the Thomas Edison thing? Oh yeah, I made this awful joke one time about what if they made action figures like that. I had like the Colonel Mustard, and I said that Colonel Mustard, Colonel Custard, jeez,
Colonel Custard.
General Custard.
Yeah,
I'm mixing Colonel Mustard and General Custard. Okay, but there's these action figures, and I said, what if they had Thomas Edison? And like I made jokes, and I said like it was an action figure because Thomas Edison's son, when Thomas Edison was about to die, he put a jar up to his. This is weird. He put a jar up to his mouth. And he sucked his last breath and put it in there and like put it in a museum or something. That doesn't work like that. But it's so funny that I said like have the Thomas Edison action figure. I said catch his last breath. Don't let it slip away. And that was like would be on the action figure. We thought it was really funny. Like,
it's be a bedridden like, Thomas Edison.
And then like it comes with a jar. Don't catch his last breath. Don't let it slip away. You can see that as an advertisement, but now we're going way off.
But, way off.
I think this movie.